Hey there, and welcome back to Dungeons at Dark, where I, your Dungeon Master, Andrew Taylor, sit around and play Dungeons and Dragons with some of my very favorite people. Say hi, favorite people.
Ah!
All
Hello, favorite people.
right. With us as always, but in the driver's seat tonight at the table by himself is Mike Baudry. He is driving while I am on vacation in Hawaii. We have Kyle Evans. We have Christian Evans. We have Tucker Daigle. And last but not least, we have Chris Jensen.
Ooh, got you with the two time.
You guys, as as we begin to get ready for this session, we first need to take a look back at last week's session. So, a little bit of a recap. We picked up last week with you guys standing inside of the tallest tower, the Triarch Tower of High Watch. Not just standing there, but watching as a hag, formerly a high elf, or wood elf, excuse me, named Ileana, starts butchering the avian species, the owl folk, the raven folk, the Arakoka, all of them, butchering them where they stand with magic, using the spell Disintegrate. Not just that, but shooting beams from the hands of the three Triarchs who she has killed and taken control of their bodies. In your heads, you hear the words, run. And you do. Trying to push your way through the carnage as Aina strikes down onlookers and guards, and every elf that seems to be kind of a avian sympathizer is also targeted. As you guys push through the doors, you see the carnage in the inside is spilled to the outside, with these tall elven figures wearing elaborate gold masks, targeting, it seems, individual sympathizer elves that were there to beg the Triarchs for help. You rush past a series of these, snagging masks as you go, and make your way down the winding tunnel. As you make your way down this hollowed out tower, you make your way all the way to the bottom. And as you do, you see that the carnage is again spilling into the broader city of High Watch. You make your way towards the library, with Henry leading the way, wanting to take advantage of the carnage and possible lack of security to get something out of the library. As you guys make your way there, you cross through a large park. You notice a couple of things. You see that Vinsire notices that the grass is dying, rotted, possibly by root rot. We also see that there are a family of elves, two children, a mother and a father, who have been surrounded by these elves in golden masks and look like they're about to be butchered. Kit rushes straight in, putting herself into the fray in front of the children. The team, Henry leading the way, but still moving towards the library through the park, start their attacks and are able to defeat these elven figures, but not before Vinsire accidentally, using an ice knife, kills the father of these elves. Vinsire also is shot by an arrow strike to the shoulder, and notices that his blood, that the grass that is infected with this root rot reacts to his blood. Not just that, when he pulls up the roots, a sample of the roots, he notices that the spot that his blood has touched has possibly cured the root rot. Collecting the samples in two small bottles, you guys move to the library. At the library, you encountered some more carnage. It looks like a fight had broken out, and the librarians and anyone who'd been here were either dead or had left. You search in vain for any of the gold-masked elves and find a secret door. A secret door that leads down a long corridor to a stone archway, guarded by an automaton spider called the Kraken. The Kraken awakens and starts to attack, dealing quite a bit of damage near the end there, before the party was ultimately able to open its back, stealing its power source and powering up the archway to the restricted section of the library. Henry knew exactly what was going on the entire time because, during a pretty tense exchange with the party, Henry divulged a piece of his past and history, and promised to deliver more when this was through. You guys made it through the archway and noticed immediately that this restricted section of the library was covered and thick spider webs. You heard an eerie voice and felt movement in the webs as a giant awoken spider named Caretaker began to question you. After a failed attempt to fool Caretaker, the party ultimately had to fight and defeat them and was able to find what they were looking for. Evidence of a powerful artifact or evidence of a mythological figure named the Pilgrim looking for a powerful artifact and warning of things that he possibly could not have known. As the party began to leave, they noticed that the gateway had been powered down and the only way out was to bust open the windows and fly through. We ended with you guys landing safely in the park that you had originally ran through, and that is where we will pick up. How's that for a fucking recap, huh?
Fucking
like that?
excellent.
Yeah, that was good, huh?
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Golf claps all around.
Yeah. You guys too, You guys too.
You left the part out about my net.
Yes, I don't talk about everything that everyone does in combat. True. Yes, you use the net. I know that you personally are very excited about the net, and it was a good net. It worked very well.
It did.
Yeah, I did.
Guess I'll have to watch the last episode to find out what I did it with it.
That's true. Guess you will. Nice eyeballs. So that is where we're going to pick up, and where I'm going to hand the table off to the party. So you guys have landed gently, kind of safely over the heads of security porting to the tower. You'll note that no one actually saw you. That you know of. You didn't see anybody in the library. So as far as you know, you feel pretty certain that no one knows that it was you who just robbed the library. However, you have a bag of holding that you shoved a bunch of books into. You have a scroll that you found that talks about the Pilgrim that you guys have a physical representation of at the table. Mikey has it. You also have a picture in the chat.
And 2 gold masks.
And 2 gold masks. So you guys got a lot of stuff. You are now in a park, and there are alarm bells going off all over the city. You can see it's broad daylight, but you can see kind of in the distance, like under the shade of trees, like a couple hundred feet away, you'll see like a glint of like gold mask as someone's like chasing someone through the woods, or like you see someone sprinting down the street, or guards like hauling one of these gold masked figures away. You see this kind of unfolding in front of you. No one really knows who you are. You're just kind of standing here watching all this. But that is the scene. You're in a park full of trees if you wish to use them. But yeah, there you go. That is the scene. Table's yours.
So,
As we-
Bastion?
Yeah,
we should get the fuck out of here.
Yep, I agree. Vinsire, you want to do your tree thing?
Sure. Yep. We can
Come
do
on,
that.
come on. I'm like, grab your back, like from the back. I'm gonna grab your shoulders. Come on, do the tree thing.
Relax.
There's a lot of guards.
Will you relax? Okay. You are never so antsy. Okay. You're normally very calm and collected. You are bad under pressure.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a city of guards, so.
Travel through plants on this nearest decent sized tree. Go back to the bastion. 6 seconds.
6 seconds.
And
Yeah. So you guys pop. Vinsire spends his action. Transport via plants, a special feature granted to him at a low level due to a special background mechanic that him and I are aware of. And
sacrifice.
You guys run. You guys run through the tree and appear outside of the grand willow tree at the edge of your property near the dock. You are standing at the edge of Lake Blackmore, where your dock meets the water. You can see that your estate is dimly lit, like some of the windows are lit. Or excuse me, it's daylight, so you would see nothing except for everything. So you can just see the exterior of the home. Everything is clear. Doesn't look like there's any issues. You are back at your bastion, your safe house.
It's gonna like put her hands on her hips and just kind of like sigh as that was an hour of stuff. All right, well, I'm gonna look at Kazakh. Do you still have that sending stone?
Yeah.
We should probably tell them that I think the deal's probably off.
Just because
I know.
the three leaders, they're all dead now.
Massacred,
Yeah,
some details.
Hey, it's Kazmak. The Triarchs are dead. Deal's probably off. Hear from you soon. Chink. I'll put it back in my pocket.
Yeah, Sending Stone, you get back. Not great news. When you have the moment and the time, bring your crew back. We have much to discuss.
I'm gonna send again. Like, don't worry. And I'm gonna like turn to the rest of the party. I'll bring my crew back, and I'm gonna like wink at everyone collectively.
That wasn't intentional.
Who would that be? Is that someone you got back at the Crags?
Well, I mean, I assume it's you guys if you want to continue making gold from him. But I mean, if not, then
the rest of us will follow Vinsire through the tree, and then you can grab your crew whenever you want. And then you can meet us there in like what, 2-3 weeks?
I mean, it's pretty easy to just walk through the tree.
Just going to de facto throw
walk
my
through.
head in here, not trying to claim leadership whatsoever. I feel like that is fully.
What a humble leader he is.
Humility is a great trait to have in a leader.
We are all here for unselfish reasons. Please don't put this on me.
Van Net's going to chime in.
Oh, I keep forgetting this guy's with us.
Me too.
Brom,
Can I see
don't say it out loud.
Can I see the scroll? Who's got the scroll? Henry?
I
Oh.
think Henry might.
That's fine. We can just say Henry has the
Here you go.
There, it's perfect. Vanessa's going to take the scroll, give it a read. So, when do we leave?
Well, I wouldn't mind at least spending the night here, getting a rest in. But I mean, I'm down to leave whenever.
Well, we need to get at least one rest in.
What time of day is
Yes.
it?
You also have your dinner party in 4 days' time.
Yeah, that is true.
Now, for the party, you'll remember Orion knocked on the door during your downtime, your 7 days of downtime, and told you that in 5 days' time, which is now 4 days' time, that you were going to be hosting a dinner party with his benefactor, and to prepare for that. What that is for you guys gives you an opportunity to go into town and get some fancy clothes made at a clothier. You have a little bit of change in your pockets if you wanted to do that. You could. But up to you. You can update your look and your wardrobe for this dinner party. But I wanted to give you time. I didn't want to be like, oh, you have. If you wanted to do something on the table that took time,
I forgot about the dinner party in the haste of battle.
That's fine. That's why I'm here. So, just to kind of do a level set here. Actually, let's do something we have not done yet in this campaign. We'll do a round robin check-in. As you guys kind of hit the Bastion, you guys kind of like loosely make a plan. Like, yes, we've read this scroll. We know that the pilgrim was after some sort of powerful artifact, and that before High Watch he was involved with Bean. Okay, you guys know all this stuff now. There's a bit of a trail for you to follow. So let's do a check-in. I'm gonna start. Actually, I'll give it up to you. Does anybody want to start? Internal monologue for the audience.
Sure.
Sure. Good, Kazmak.
I would say as we get back to the keep or bastion, as it were, Kazmak would be just kind of, I guess, pondering over where we're going to be going, kind of what we've gone through, but still definitely in the forefront of his mind is the reason that he's here, and he's kind of just like refreshing that in his mind. I would say at this point, he's also kind of slightly less apprehensive in his mind towards the group, with the exception of Henry, who he's pretty much trusted most of the time the party's been together, up until it seemed like there was some discrepancies in what he had been told. And he's also well aware that Henry primarily is also after something that sounds very similar to what he's after. So he's definitely kind of not really on edge, but he's thinking it over kind of in his head.
Okay. Let's go. Let's actually just slide right on over on my screen to Henry. Henry, your internal monologue. You don't have to share everything. Don't. Everybody has secrets of D&D, so don't give anything away. But go ahead and share your kind of internal monologue, if you will.
All right. Henry's internal monologue is kind of he's at a weird in between stage right now. He knows the group is on to him in a way that they haven't been before, and he doesn't know if he should lean into it or lean away from it. Trust them more or completely step away from them. Philip is also gone at the moment. And for the first time in a very long time, Henry is debating on whether or not he wants to summon Philip back. Or just be on his own for a little bit.
Fuck that bitch.
Thank you for that. Brahm, I'm going to have you next, and then I will come to Vinsire, and we'll finish with Kit.
Brahm is trying to figure out what this all means. What is the group after? This doesn't make sense. Nothing makes sense in this world. Why did I come here? And a couple times, Brahm has been hesitant to continue with the group to try to make his way up to Europe. He's at times debated on abandoning the group in the middle of the night to venture up north because he has his reasons. And if somehow this is all tied together, if this is indeed the fact that this is tied for my reasoning going north.
True. The map kind of does give you and the party a reason to actually go north and an argument for you to stand on, so that is good for you. Let's go to Vinsire.
Yes. Oh man. Truthfully, it's really just been advantageous to travel with people who probably won't kill me. We don't know how we feel about that right now, but up to now we've been pretty confident not everyone's going to kill me, and I've been finding more clues just kind of over, so I'm just kind of like along for the ride at this point. I've gotten lucky, we're getting hits, and now I'm just excited to just basically trace the little hints that I've gotten. That's what I was really looking forward to.
Yeah, and how? I'll ask you a question for that one. How does he feel specifically about what he just like in the last 2 hours? I mean, you don't know anything, but in the last 2 hours, a pretty significant discovery.
Well, I know a thing now. I've known nothing, and now I know a thing. Something happened, so now I got a thing. So it's like the thing. So far, it's been very nothing. We've been guessing. We've been guessing hard.
It seems like High Watch really seemed to provide a lot of concrete kind of like leads for the first time, it seems, for the party. Okay. No, it's all good. And then we'll wrap up with Kit.
I mean, fairly similar to most everyone now that it's like nice to actually have something to lean on. It's not just grasping at straws, which gives her a glimmer of hope of getting the den back, at least whatever remains of the den. She also feels kind of bad that she hasn't been communing with the sacred soul probably as much as she normally would, but she's been off doing some new things for the first time, kind of betraying the rules of the den to protect the den. So there's a lot of mental internal turmoil going on with that. But on the whole, good. Just questioning who the fuck this man is that's been traveling with us and why he's hiding so much.
Okay. I actually lied. I will actually do Van Ness. Van Ness is worried. He does not feel like the people that he is traveling with are necessarily good people. Like the things that he has done, that they have done while in his presence, while he's been in their presence, have been questionable at times. However, Beneth is, in his mind, capable of questionable things and would do anything to get back his wife and daughter. So, with all that said, you guys hit the Bastion and split off to do your thing. So you kind of have a couple of days of downtime. You have 4 days to kind of like role play through, prepare stuff, study, make checks. We can go do an outing to the shop, the clothier inside Darkmoor, and you guys can design your outfits for the dinner party if you so choose, or you can just wear what you're wearing. It doesn't matter to me. Just want to give you the opportunity. So, who would like to go first? We have, let's say, you know what? Let's let you guys kind of role play the survival of this incident, and then we'll jump into what you guys want to jump into next. So I'll turn the table over to you while I prepare for some other things.
How much time are we still like walking up, or after we're all thinking? Has it been like some time?
You guys, I'd say like you guys are like, you land and you like kind of take a couple of seconds. You're like looking around, and now that's where we are. So you just get back to the Bastion.
Oh, okay. I would say Kazamak's kind of look around, and after all of the things that ensued, just kind of be like, huh. Henry, would you mind doing that cleaning thing you do, as I look around at the party, who I would assume would be just like covered in random viscera from the massacre that took place that we were standing in? Yeah,
you guys, some of you took some pretty decent hits. Some of you are okay, but some of you did take some pretty good hits. So, Kazamak, you look pretty rough. I think Kit took some decent hits. Vinsire took maybe 1 or 2 hits. So you guys are looking kind of banged up. Like it wasn't.
I took hits. Be clear.
The last 2 hours. In the last 2 hours, you guys were in 3 separate engagements. They were quick, but they all hurt. All of them.
I went down. I literally got one tapped by the spider.
So it was not an easy. It's not been an easy day. It is noon. It is 12 o'clock, high noon. You guys just got back from High Watch. You look around. You all look kind of fucked up. That's
damn.
Yes, let me. Hey, hold on.
I'll like kind of like look over, and my eyes are still like, as like what somebody would look like after you got pepper sprayed, because my eyes are still a little red and swollen, like kind of puffy.
While Henry's prestidigitationing Kazamak and like patting him down, like, so we gonna talk about what you told us you would tell us once we got back here?
Yes, I suppose we should.
Little fingers, like furry little fingers.
Well, yes, please. Yes, of course we will. Let us get back to the Bastion first.
Like point to it in the distance, be like, we're here.
I would like
to get inside. What I have to tell you is very sensitive, and all I have to say is we are in great and terrible danger if anything I tell you gets out. So please, just bear with me a few more moments, and I'll walk over to you, start cleaning you off. Just get clean, and let's make our way to the Bastion. And,
I'm gonna pipe up, and I'm gonna say, but the Bastion has ears and eyes in it.
Oh, it does.
It does. I mean, but also at the end of the day, they work for us.
Yes, I suggest maybe we all get together in a room.
Just because they work for you doesn't mean they're paid by somebody else.
Well,
they technically are paid by somebody else at this point.
For a year.
I mean, to be fair, they're paid by Vittorio, who is a crime boss.
Yes.
So I don't know if they really work for us, and I really don't think that they have any loyalty to us either.
I think
So-
we're overthinking this.
In
I
my
think-
world, in my world, information is key. Information is gold.
That
So-
is a true fact.
Thought you were in the church, man.
Again, the church is always watching. We're always learning.
That's terrifying.
That is terrifying. Yeah.
That is really yes. Well, let's get back to the Bastion then, because I'm all ears on what you got to say, and with that, I'm just gonna like start walking towards the Bastion.
All right.
Yeah, you guys make your way back into the Bastion. You notice there's a couple people. There's a couple of the house work. The house servants doing like their work. They're doing all like just cleaning, preparing, picking up after lunch, preparing for dinner, things of that nature. But you guys, I'll say, probably the you feel most comfortable having this conversation downstairs in the library/lounge area, or the arcane study/library. So you make your way downstairs, the main house, where you're able to confirm there's no one else. You guys look around. You don't see anyone. It's just it's an open space, so it's not like anyone can really hide from you down here. So you feel pretty comfortable that you are alone down here. Baneth is there, and it is the 6 of you.
DM. Quick question.
Yep.
Liamon's tiny hut.
Yep.
Would you say I have control over whether or not sound can pass through that?
You do.
It should be in the spell.
Yeah.
It's not. It's visual, so I can turn it opaque or clear.
So, yeah.
Sound doesn't. The we play that sound doesn't penetrate outside of the hut, regardless.
Yeah,
Wunderbar.
'cause I used to use that shit religiously.
It's a good one. It's a good one. So once we get down, I'll go down to the arcane workshop in the basement of the Bastion. So, yeah, all right, everyone, follow me if you really want to know what's going on here. Just give me a few moments. Me start doing my thing real quick. Give me like 10 minutes.
Okay. You cast. Spend 10 minutes casting Liamon's tiny hut, while the rest of you kind of loiter around, read some books. I'll say you can spend this time, Kazamak, kind of unloading the books that you got.
Yeah.
You're just kind of grabbing, so there's not a ton here. There's some interesting books on. There is a book on the Ebon Mountains, which are the mountains outside of Calypso, and like the history about them and the kind of the area around them. In the 10 minutes, you kind of loosely leafing through the pages. You get a couple of things. One, you've come across this Legend of Duero Deep a couple of times now, or I believe this is maybe the second or third reference you've had to it. But you see it again, a reference to an ancient dwarven city in the Ebon Mountains.
The mountains of your people.
It makes reference to a powerful weapon, but again, doesn't like provide a map, and it's mostly considered a myth in this book as well. That's what you get out of the books for that portion. You also come across a book on the Northern Sea. It talks about the giant serpent that is supposedly roaming the Northern Sea between Loefenstank and Zata. It is supposed to be the largest sea serpent on After Air. It's widely considered a pirate, like a sailor's myth, but there are credible reports of large serpents near the whirlpool. So take it for what you will. But that's what you get in 10 minutes, and then Liamon's tiny hut pops off. Poop. You guys are inside of the hut, feel secure, and all look at Henry.
As Henry finishes up the spell, he's gonna get up off the ground, sit down into like one of the giant overstuffed chairs that's in the arcane study, grab his pipe, light it, look down at the tiny little pipe he has for Philip. Look to you all. What would you like to know?
Well, I mean, how about you just kind of start from the beginning, I guess?
Or your name.
Yeah,
That
like
too. Pretty easy one to start with.
You would think. Well, I could see how one might think that is an easy jumping off point. However, in this case, I assure you, it is a very loaded and dangerous point to start. I will give you, I have not always been Henry, but I am Henry. And I would like it, I would very much appreciate it, no matter what else is said today, if you would continue to address me as Henry.
But why?
Yeah, I mean,
Because
I was gonna say I got no problem calling you Henry, but and I'm just gonna like lean in, like
well, old Henry, he's got a bit of a past on him. I've done some things. Some serious shit.
Kazumak is gonna just kind of like lean back. Henry, just tell us what you're gonna tell us. You're going in circles and you're not telling us anything.
Alright, if you want the straight shot, I'll give you the straight shot. I've killed a lot of very powerful and important people. I'm not going to tell you who. I'm not going to tell you where. And I'm not going to tell you when.
Henry!
You tell me. Will you tell us why?
Name?
Hey, Kazumak, relax. All right.
I
I'm
cannot stress this enough. You cannot tell anyone my name.
Alright, I won't tell anyone your
Okay,
name.
then just don't tell us. Why would you even? Why would you risk this? You trust these people? Okay.
Never mind. I'm back here.
As our leader just said, yes, I do have a hard time trusting all of you. I'll give you this. I've been known as a couple names. I will give you the name that my parents gave me at birth. I need you to ask no more, lest I be discovered and great and terrible dangers be brought upon us. No one can know I'm still alive. But the name my parents gave me was Chiron.
Chiron. Thank
Yes.
God. 10
I
minutes later, we finally
don't
got
know.
something relevant. And I'm just gonna like jot it down.
Mm,
I'm saying.
I'm just kidding. I'm
And
just
that's
kidding.
in writing.
I don't actually write it down.
Now you see, I understand there's some trust issues, and I haven't been completely honest, but there's very clearly a reason, and I need you all to understand that. I do not have any ill will towards any of you. This is why I keep my secrets close to my chest, because they are dangerous.
Well, I mean, all right. Okay.
I mean, I think you can understand that I can relate to you probably the closest out of this group, at least from what we know about the rest of the group currently. You and I are probably pretty similar. And we all have our reasons for secrets. Could you at least tell us what sort of danger we might be in? As it does affect all of our agendas if you were to get wrapped up.
Normally I wouldn't go that far. However, based on events that have just taken place, I will tell you that I was once a part of a group.
Oh.
I will not tell you their name,
The Beatles.
but you just met another member.
I'm gonna reach into my bag and pull out the gold masks. So,
No, not that group.
You talking about the lady that killed all the people? You know her?
Yes, sir. I do not know her. We are a very secretive group, and I doubt she knew me. But there are certain signs that you can recognize if you're looking.
Was it the hyper powerful magic? Or was it like the murderous rampage? Or the ethnic cleansing?
Henry, I'm not
Which
gonna
part was the recognizable part in that, Henry?
I'm going to keep that a little close to my chest. Just, you know, I'm going to keep that one in my back pocket, exactly what it was. But let's just say it's something I recognized on her form. And just the amount of raw power.
I just want to say, this is
She
very quickly
alluded.
sounding like your problem.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see
Yes.
how any of this would hurt us if we were to give up your name.
You are around me.
I'm
These
gonna
kinds
ju-
of people. Oh, okay.
I'm gonna jump in there and be like, "It is too late. He told us his name. Our fates are now intertwined.
I didn't hear anything.
We are part of his fate. He is part of our fate. Because
Me and Omega Shenron over here have nothing in common. I don't know him.
yes, but now you know his secret. So therefore,
I-
you are fate. We are all intertwined.
I mean, I hate to be so poetic about it, but Brahm's right.
Yeah,
Because of this fact, we just need to know one thing, Henry.
Speaks in soliloquy.
How dangerous is this group that we need to worry about?
If he said that Aina is a part of this group and she did what she did, I think it's safe to say that there
Hey,
are.
why can't you do that, Henry?
Yeah, did you miss that training day or something? What's going on?
Oh, young ones, there was a time, let me tell you, there was a time when I could sling it with the best of them. But
You talking about magic?
yes.
Are you telling us that you're old and you got kicked out of the group?
Ooh.
No. Nope, that's not what happened.
Did you leave? Are you still a
We're
member?
not going to go into that. No. All I'm saying, it's a very powerful group. You shouldn't. We shouldn't push this any further. Just please know this is. I am trusting you very much in divulging this information.
Henry,
I
I
would
was at a bar and I wanted to see if anyone knew about him.
Henry, did you leave on your terms or did you leave on their terms?
I left on my terms.
Uh-oh.
Ah, so
so they're hunting you then.
you are the wild card.
Not so much anymore, but perhaps in my youth.
So, if you left them, and you are nowhere near as powerful as that woman was, is that why you're after this orb?
I've no more interest in the orb than any other magician would in a powerful artifact. I have an obsession with powerful magic. It is a beautiful thing. I would love to study it, to find out what its purpose is, how it could be used for different good or perhaps even ill. It's the beauty of magic that I would like this object for. I'm not after it. I'm not gonna lie to you either. If it was in front of me, I'd be all about that shit.
All right. So the only reason you want it is to study it.
Yes.
Whatever reason.
I
is there
want to
want-
insight check if he's lying or not.
Yeah, make an insight check.
Because when we first met, you also said you had no idea what this thing was. Let's see if it's gonna be any good.
That's a close to a nat 20 face.
Ha! It was almost nat 20. It's a 6. I believe you.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. Just study it. I'd love to get to know magic. It's such a beautiful thing. Ever since I was a child, I've always loved it.
Well,
But yes.
I mean, all right. So far, what I've gathered from you is a name,
Mhm.
and I'm just gonna pause and not say anything else. Just kind of like, yes, I've gathered a name. You gave us literally nothing else, Henry. You talked for about, I don't know, what is it, like 20 minutes, and all you told us is a name.
Yes. Yep.
And
That's
you
all
give
you
me-
asked for.
I asked you like a bunch of questions, actually. To be fair,
I just don't know if I can sit through all that again, and that was horrible.
Wow.
That was rough.
Sorry,
Ben-
Kazumak.
Vaneth, who's been sitting quietly at the edge of the dome, the hut, is going to say, you'll remember that Vaneth is elven in nature, lives a long time. He's going to say, Aina was a member of the Arcanum Tenebrae.
Arcanum Tenebrae.
And then he's going to look right at Henry.
Arcanum Tenebrae.
Have I ever heard of the Arcanum Tenebrae in my 365 years of youth?
You have not.
Can I roll a luck check to see if in the month I've been on this place that I've heard about it?
Guaranteed you have not.
I'm gonna look at Van and be like, very, beautiful sounding name. Can you explain to the group what that might entail?
Arcanum, arcane, tenebrae, shadows.
Ooh, maybe shadows.
They're assassins.
Oh, okay. Good. So this elderly fellow who's been following us for weeks is actually a magical assassin.
Well, he hasn't been following. He's had input on the direction.
I didn't say that. I said that Aina was a member of the Arcanum Tenebrae. I said nothing about Henry.
Well, that's a fair point. Henry's name's nowhere in those books.
So
to be quite honest, I don't really care what he did for a profession. We all have our
Part
own
of me cares
past.
a little bit.
Kazumak, I feel like your past is probably just as dirty. You're just a bit more open about it.
To each their own. I'm not inherently upset. I would just, prefer people who hide things tend to, I don't know, can't trust them.
I would agree with that statement, believe it or not, Kazumak.
And I killed a guy today.
You did? Should we talk about that?
I'm gonna walk over to Henry in the bubble, which is like maybe 2 feet, walking, and I'm just gonna extend a paw and be like, "Well, thank you for sharing." And I'll just like shake your hand, and be like, "Henry took a lot of courage to tell us about your past. They may not be accepting of that, but I can trust you a little bit more now."
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I want to reiterate one last time, please. I'm always just silly old Henry.
There's nothing silly about you, old man.
The way I see it, I don't care what you are. You're helping me get to my end. So as long as our ends don't end up crossing each other, that's all I care about.
Well, very well.
As you guys kind of end the conversation and exit the bubble, Henry kind of sitting down in his chair, finishing his pipe. You guys exit the bubble, go about your... you just got home from a battle, so washing up. I know you were prestidigitation, but washing your cuts, starting the process of healing yourself, getting something to eat, sharpening bullet weapons, checking on your Bastion, what have you. We have nothing immediately pressing, like timeline-wise, that you guys have in 4 days. However, on the 4th night, you do have a dinner party with the benefactor of Orion. So then you can make assumptions however you like who that is. So as you guys kind of set off on your day, how would everybody like to spend a couple of days of downtime? Any role playing that you would like to do, you can do. Any potion making, anything that you'd like to do. I saw, man, I assume it was probably Kit first, just because Kit loves to put their finger up first. So Kit, go first.
Try to be good about not just screaming over the mic. I'm actually just gonna very quickly find Doreen. We're having the party at our place.
So Orion knocked on the door and told you, Kit, that you are hosting a dinner party for him and his benefactor and friends of yours.
I'm going to go to Doreen and is she just like, what is she doing? What's the six-figure housekeeper doing?
All she's doing is she's literally just in the kitchen, like preparing dinner. It's just after lunch. They've just cleared all the lunch service and everything. There's like leftover like hand sandwiches sitting there, like little mini sandwiches for you, like a full sandwich kit. Just like sitting on the counter. But she's like chopping vegetables for tonight's like soup.
Okay, and good evening, Doreen. Did anyone make you aware? What was that?
Oh, hi there.
I don't. It's good to see you, actually. Did anyone make you aware of the dinner party that's coming up in a couple days?
I happened to overhear at the doorway. I assume just a slightly more fancy fare. I planned a prime rib with vegetables, some soup, some fresh fish. Plenty of food to go around, and then for dessert, maybe a trifle.
Oh, I mean, it all sounds perfect. I just wanted to make sure you were, up to date. I'm not super keen on this company coming in, but we have to put our best foot forward and take care of them. So that being said, would you know like a good clothing shop in town where I could go and freshen up a bit?
Ah, you'll be looking for Tilda's Textiles. Tilda's the best. She can do everything from a dress to a suit, to a robe to tapestries.
Okay. Do you need me to pick up anything for the staff or?
Oh no, we have dressier uniforms that we can put on. Just the standard black and white fare.
Okay. Well, shout if you need anything. I hope you don't, because you're pretty pricey, and I'm gonna grab a sandwich and walk out. I'm gonna spend my downtime just customizing an outfit at Tilda's.
Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely we'll go there like on the first day. So like this afternoon of this first day, we'll all go. You guys will have that opportunity. And then Henry was next.
Yes. DM, that spell book I picked up.
Yep.
I never got the list of spells.
Oh,
I think you rattled them off real quick, but I didn't get a chance to write them down.
Here, let me write them. Let me give them to you here.
You piece of shit, Henry.
File. Recent. I watch library restricted zone.
Piece of shit, Chiron.
Loot.
Chiron.
I'm sorry, guys. I just can't stop thinking about Ryan Gosling's performance at the Oscars.
Here you go. You got the spells were borrowed knowledge.
Okay.
Clairvoyance. Comprehend languages. Elevated sight. Locate object. And true scene.
Excellent. I'm going to spend some of my downtime writing some of these spells down in my spell book. I can't do a whole lot because I don't have all that much money. Then I'd also like to find Kit.
Okay. Yeah, you can start. Go ahead. Kit, where would you be?
After taking my sandwich, I would be in the training little what do they call it? Like training grounds, like a plaza in front of the barracks. I guess like a parade. And I'll be with Travis and Michelle, and I'll just be like sitting on like a post in this like awkward crouched crane position, eating my sandwich, just counting as they do sit-ups.
Okay. There you go, Henry. That's where you find Kit.
Interesting. Miss Kitsune, I'm sorry, how would you like to be addressed? I don't know if we've covered this.
Kitsune works. Kitsune is like the whole thing,
Okay.
but Kit's fine.
Was Kit, I was thinking recently, about our situation, that we arrived in when we, teleported the other day. And, we got that spell scroll from, your friend. And just so happened to meet this hag woman in the bar that we were teleported into. Do you think that was a coincidence? I mean, you might know better than me. It seems like he runs in some high circles. Do you think?
Oh no, he's a piece of shit. He's for sure.
Undoubtedly, yes.
I did some bad things. He 100% kidnapped all of my people.
For sure, I know he's a complete asshole, but how conniving do you think he is? Do you think he's clever enough to, like, do you think he's involved in that at all?
100%.
Okay.
He's conniving is a very nice way of putting it, and that's not a very nice way of putting it.
Huh. Interesting. All right. I'm gonna do some reading. Some of these books. I wanna figure some more out about this fellow. There's got to be something here.
I'll describe to you. I don't know if you've ever heard of this sort of magic, but he had this thing that he put on me when we first became acquainted. It was this black dot that he put on my paw. I don't know if you ever saw it.
Yes, I believe I saw you use it.
See what I was doing, communicate to me, and if I deviated, he could inflict a level of pain that it was acceptable, but it was like when you're training an animal. So if that gives you any insight into the kind of person that he is from a distance.
It does. It does. I have somewhere to start now. Thank you very much. Please enjoy your sandwich and your standing funny. Goodbye.
She'll like bust her hands off, do a backflip, like crane backflip off of the post. Like, all right, come on, up, and then we're gonna run 5 miles.
Jesus. Awesome. Okay. Henry, anything else you want to do?
Yeah, I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to copy down one of these spells over the next 4 days, once I look at another level and stuff like that. And then I'd also like to kind of research, try and determine whatever kind of magic was used for that magic tattoo or mole or whatever you want to call it.
Sure. Let's you go through arcane study. So let's I'll allow you. Yeah, go ahead and make an arcane check or arcana check.
That is going to be a 23.
Yeah, it takes a while to find it. You find it in kind of an older esoteric book on kind of extinct magicka. This is a magic that was used hundreds of years ago by a group of elves that were eventually subjugated under the Empire. It is a form of like shadow magic. Very few possess the knowledge to practice it anymore. Those who do typically have first-hand knowledge from a source.
Okay. All right. That's it. I'm good. No fancy clothes for Henry.
Okay. Let's go to Ram. What are you spending your downtime doing?
I'm with Xavier. We're making some religious symbols. No, but on a side note, I'm gonna go talk to Henry one-on-one.
Okay.
And then I'm guessing he's in his bastion, just kind of doing his own thing. I'm gonna knock on the door, and then I'm gonna look at Henry. You gonna acknowledge me? Just I'll go fuck myself.
Oh, hello. I'm not used to you facing my direction. Usually you're going the other way. What's going on?
I'm gonna look at you. I'm gonna say, how long?
I'm gonna need you to elaborate for me a little here, friend.
5.5 hard.
How long with the group? How long apart from the group?
40 years with, 20 out.
After these 20 years, are you a big concern to them?
I honestly don't know. I can tell you, 5 years after I left, I was. 10 years after I left, I was. I can't say for sure, but I can promise you, they find out that I'm still alive, I will be a concern.
Have you been in hiding this whole entire time?
Yes.
Well, I will not press on information that is not given to me.
Perhaps one day, if they find us, if I'm forced out, you may know more. But
just remember, in this group, you're not the only one with secrets.
All right. As he's walking away, you see Henry's head like lean out the door, like,
Wow.
Brom waxing poetic. A very nice interaction there. Okay. Brom, anything else you want to do? Gonna get fancy clothes for the dinner party? Or you're gonna go in your robes?
I'm gonna go in my robes, but I will venture into town just to look at a few things, just to peruse.
Okay, we'll do a town trip as a group.
I kind of figured that's what you want to do, but I just want to get that out there. I did want to go to the town.
Okay. Yeah, we'll find. So what we'll do is once you guys kind of get through all this, we'll kind of like retroactively. You went to town on the first afternoon, like after you've gotten something to eat, you got a chance to rest. Around 4 p.m., you guys wander into town on horseback. So let's go to Vinsire, and we'll end with Kazmak.
Oh, so for instance, that afternoon, right, we get back. I think I'm really processing that murder, so I'm just gonna go set up an experiment and I'm gonna start, just. I'll make a medicine check. I'm gonna try to IV and try to collect a little bit of my blood, get a little drip going, get a little collection started.
See, I would actually say this is going to be this is going to be an intelligence check of some sort or a wisdom check of some sort. So I'm actually going to have you can make like a nature check.
Okay.
Yeah, let's make a nature check here.
Okay.
As you're setting up this kind of like chemistry experiment, biology experiment.
25.
25. Really good roll. So with the 25, yeah, so you get back, you guys had the conversation with Henry, you make your way to the garden. You have let's say you have like a little shed on the outskirt of your garden, like kind of like just a small like 8x10 shed that you set up inside there. So you got this little shed, you got a couple of beakers in there, you're making potions. Now you're testing your blood. So you kind of sit down, you think about what happened in High Watch. You poke your finger, you draw some blood, you fill a vial with some blood, and then you start testing against the roots the root clippings that were poisoned that you grabbed. So you set up about a dozen different beakers. Each individual beaker reacts to the drop of your blood. If you put the blood in the vial first and then insert the roots actively move towards your blood and seek out your blood. As they contact, you can watch the root heal almost immediately.
That's a weird way of saying blood makes the grass grow.
You then go outside with the 25. I'll say you go outside in the Bastion. You find a spot of grass that is not there's no root rot here on the island yet. You grab. You did just bring root rot to an island that didn't have root rot. It is contained. You rolled a 25 and you're fine. Just saying. Bad rolls would have had bad consequences probably.
Bamboo, you can't get rid of that shit.
Go out, you grab a fresh cut of grass, and then you test your blood against that. It does nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So it is not that your blood is all grass wants your blood. It seems to be those affected by the root rot. That's what you get with the 25.
Okay. Hypothesis confirmed, supposedly. And then I also would like to go into town for some things. Are we going to go over the rest of the days? Because I would be making potions if not.
Yeah, that's to be doing everything. We're just going to come back and do the town thing after you guys.
And the next 2 days we got potions. And then when will we roll again for the Bastion?
3 days after the dinner. You just rolled for the Bastion.
Okay.
Like literally yesterday in game.
To be fair, it was a month ago.
Kyle, quit making excuses. It was yesterday.
I'm gonna make 2 greater healing potions.
All right, make your rolls.
Give me my spreadsheet. No, my spreadsheet. Okay.
While he's rolling, Kazmak, go ahead.
I initially I say once everyone's kind of settled in, and I get situated in like a random the workshop area, I want to I want to find like a piece of paper or something that I can use as a list, and I'm literally just gonna like peg it on the door, and I'm just gonna be like just put in just write needs on it, and then I kind of want to make my way around to the rest to the party, and like, hey, so I guess I'll go to Brahm. He's probably the closest if I remember how the layout goes. Brahm.
Yes.
I think I'm gonna try something the next several times that we come back to the Bastion. So if you can come up with anything that you think you need, I'm gonna try and start making things. So we'll see how this first one goes, and if it works, I put a list on the door. It takes me a while, but if it's something that you think might help you.
Can you define things?
Anything your heart desires, and depending on how crazy it is will depend on a lot of different things. I don't know, you want something that can help you swim better, you want something that can, I don't know, make you float above the ground, I don't know, anything you can think of. Just
a doorway to talk to the pantheon of gods.
Well, I see where this conversation is going, and you have the information you need. The paper's on the door. Have a good day.
So you don't mean anything, liar.
And I will go to the rest of the party and give them the same general speech.
Got it. Very cool.
But this all of our downtime I want to spend making an item.
He will bamboozle you. Do not listen to him.
You have the rules. You have the rules and all that in front of you, right?
Yeah. I that was a question I had above table. So I have like the time frames and the cost.
Yep.
How does it work in game when I want to create something? Do I have to like how does that work? Like obviously I know which item I would want, but what's the mechanic?
Yeah, so you just say DM, I'm gonna try and during my downtime I want to make a magic item.
Okay.
It's only 3 days, so it's not like you're probably making a common magic item, I assume.
Let's see.
Time frames for making magic items are bonkers.
Yeah, it
I was
is
making
wild.
a Vorpal longsword.
I can make an uncommon one with 20 hours of work.
There you go. So yeah, you can do an uncommon item in 3 days.
Yeah, everything from uncommon up is like, it's so crazy.
Yeah. You just
So
say,
yeah, uncommon.
Kazmak's gonna try and make a magic item during his downtime. He's gonna try and make a ring of blank.
Okay.
And you make rolls, and you're good to go. You don't even have to make the rolls. There's no roll.
I can just do it. Yeah. Okay. Then, having given my spiel, I'm gonna go back into my workshop, and I want to try and, having seen Henry create some sort of, I don't know even what to call it because I can't do that. So, just some sort of force field or something. I want to try and create something that could be almost like a last-ditch effort that I could basically and create something that would spring out and kind of protect us. That being said, I want to try to create a house of cards.
Okay. What? Read the house of cards for me. I've never.
Yeah, let's see. It's basically a. There we go. This deck is decorated. Okay, I'll just read you the actual bits. The shelter has a DC or an AC of 15, and 50 HP. Lasts for 24 hours until you dismiss it as an action or until it's reduced to 0 HP. And then when the shelter's duration ends, it transforms back into a deck of cards and appears in your hand. Once the deck has transformed into a shelter, it can't be used again until the next dawn. Do you want me to read you like the artsy stuff and then some of the sizes?
So it literally just transforms into a house of cards.
Yeah. A literal house of cards with 50 HP. You just like throw it on the ground and it's like.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you can you can make that over the next 3 days.
Okay.
Yeah, so very cool. Yeah, so as you guys would, in the next 3 days, after our trip to town, you see Kazimak just kind of working away in his workshop.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm literally, if you guys were to, just to add some thematics, if you were to walk in, you would hear like banging and clinking, and if you were to like peek your head in, I would be like just literally building a deck of cards or building a house of cards. That's all it would be.
Oh, just a point here. You guys, due to a mechanic that the transport via plants being handed early to Vinsire, you guys have access to not just Blackmoor during your downtime, but you could also, if Vinsire wanted to, you guys could go shopping in any of the places that you've been. High Watch, probably not the best of options. The day that you just...
It's just on my ground.
But Calypso, Blackmoor, both open to you guys as places that you have been, and Vinsire has access to trees there. So, as we kind of set off into town, you guys walk past, kind of down like the dock area where the ships are. I say like, although some of you have other things you want to buy, you're all heading to Tilda's Textiles, which is on the dock. To get there, it is about a 6-hour journey, so you would either decide to go the next morning, or you'd be staying at the Silver Serpent Casino in town. So would you guys like to go that night and have fun at the casino, or would you rather leave the next morning, stay at your Bastion for free, get the bonus for sleeping in an own bed, and then go to, in the morning, get on horseback and go? How would the party like to proceed?
I would like to stay at the Bastion. My bed is so good.
Okay. Everyone will roll for staying at the Bastion and leaving the next morning to go to town. It is a like a 4-hour horseback ride to get there. You guys will get a D8's worth of temporary hit points.
Ooh.
So anytime you sleep in a bed you actually own, like your Bastion, or if you were to buy another house somewhere, you get a D8 of temporary HP when you wake up.
I'm going to steal your die, Andrew.
That is to That's fine. Go ahead. It is to incentivize you to use the Bastion mechanic more often.
Oh, 7 temporary.
I want it to feel like a base of operations.
I like it.
I want it to be like home.
Well, we can't long rest yet, right? Or are we long resting right now?
No. It's because you're sleeping. You're going to bed the first night. You get back from High Watch. You guys do like your immediate interactions, the Henry thing. You guys sleep. Then we wake up and we're going into town. And then you're making potions or whatever it is you're doing on your downtime the rest of the time. Does that clear it up?
Clear.
Got it. There we go. Yeah, it's a little confusing the way we did it, but
Clear as mud.
So you guys the next morning get on horseback and ride into town. You eventually make it to the outskirts of town. You remember there's not a ton in Blackmoor. The main draw is really the casino and then the illicit trade that goes through the casino. But you pass the Crimson Sail shipwrights on the docks. You pass the Ebony and Ivy Trading Company, the casino is in the distance, and you finally come to Tilda's Textiles. You guys walk in, and you've never been. Oh, you actually have, I believe, been in Tilda's. Oh no, you've never been in Tilda's.
I don't think so.
You've only been the other one. You've only been in Ebony and Ivory. So you come to Tilda's Textiles. Tilda's Textiles is this kind of at the edge of what I would consider like the dock area, kind of sitting off on a side road, is a small, very kind of like cute, like cottage core style country cottage. Like out of place, where the rest of the place is kind of industrialized and it's a lot of stone and brick buildings. The Silver Serpent Casino is this tall gray building. This is like a wooden log cabin with a little pretty garden, butterflies flapping everywhere, and a sweet little sign that says, "Welcome to Tilda's Textiles." As you walk the garden path and open the door, a couple things become immediately apparent. One, this place is extremely magical. And two, you're standing face to face with a fawn. It seems that a Fey shop owner has opened shop here in Blackmore. Tilda, the weaver here, is a female fawn of about 35 years of age. She has soft brown fur that covers most of her body and gives way to human-like features on her torso, where she wears a lovely kind of like corset that turns into a dress. This kind of very beautiful kind of like goat-like horns that come out. But she is this kind of 5'11" figure, kind of breathtaking, even though she is a fawn. She kind of comes up on her hooves and says, "Well, hello, I'm Tilda. It's a pleasure to meet you. How can I help you today?" She does a little tiny curtsy.
I'll like push through the group out of the back. We're here to get clothes.
"Oh, a foxfolk. It's been a long time since I've seen one of you. What clan are you from?"
Have I ever seen one of the Inari masks? Or from the festival, have I ever seen a mask for a fawn?
Yes.
Okay. The Kitsuno clan?
"Oh, you're from here."
Yeah. I didn't realize there was more.
"Well, of course, you didn't think you were the only foxfolk in the entirety of the multiverse."
Don't know what that word means. So, I guess, yeah. I knew. For sure.
"Oh, sweet darling. It's fine. It's fine not to know something." And she like pats you on the head. She pats you on the head like very gently. And like
brush it off.
and then she goes to like she walks up to you, Henry, and she puts her hand like very forward, like kind of on your shoulder, and like just rubs very gently. She goes, "You feel tense. These robes are doing nothing for you."
Well, I say.
She walks. She leaves Henry's side and walks to Kazimak, and she like feels your muscle, like your bicep, Kazimak. She goes, "Oh yes, we could do something for this as well." And then just moves basically through the crowd. She touches Brahm's trunk, takes
Nice.
just the whiff, touches Brahm's trunk, touches
Yale.
Sire's like little nub horns, like.
Whoa. All right, they are average.
Touches Vinsire's very average 4-inch horns.
Touches Brock's 18-inch trunk and Vinsire's 3-inch stubby horn.
Hey.
So yeah, so you get the sense that Tilda, not much on personal space, but after she kind of makes her way through and does introductions, she kind of stops and goes, "So, this is my shop." And she snaps her fingers. The moment she snaps her fingers, you've noticed when you walked in that there were these closed kind of like cabinets lining the walls on either side. These big kind of like look like wall closets. The moment she snaps her fingers, the closets throw open, and a ton of racks start to fly out of the closets, almost seemingly endlessly, and then slam into the opposite wall, leaving only a small pathway for you guys to wander, kind of zigzag through basically these like racks of beautifully handmade garments. She goes, "So, I hope you like anything, but if you don't, I'm quite gifted at alterations, so I can make just about anything. I also do magical alterations, and I can create magical items, cloaks and whatnot, pretty quick." She snaps her fingers again, and standing where she, like right next to her, this little, what are those called? Mannequins. This kind of like old school, like burlap sack mannequin appears. And Henry, you immediately get the sense that this is magical. She goes, "So, what's the occasion?" And she waits expectantly.
Dinner party.
Dinner party for important people, but you don't like said important people, so you're trying to like show them up.
The whole way here, Kit kept saying dinner with Daddy, and I don't know what that means, but she said it under her breath like 4 times.
Definitely didn't say that. You probably heard dinner with Dickhead, not dinner with.
Yeah, I
Upstage package, and she snaps her fingers, and half the racks disappear, like into the closets.
Yeah, you know, I was like glancing around. I would say something that, you know, makes us look like we're very important, more so than anyone else.
Can I not have that?
But,
Can I
but
just
also
have some
not just
sticks?
crazy either.
Can you just like shove some sticks in a suit?
She kind of
Scarecrow?
takes a step back, and she goes, "Well, if you have an idea, that's fine. But from my estimations, I have quite a few ideas myself. So, we've come to a point. If you guys would like to design your outfit for this dinner party, feel free. But I have taken the liberty of things for everybody. If you would prefer. If you don't want to change your clothes, also completely fine. I know Henry doesn't want to change his clothes. Completely fine to go old school Henry. So, if you guys have an idea, now is the time to tell Tilda. Otherwise, Tilda's going to get to work.
Tilda, I like plants. That's all I gotta let this off.
I want whatever you got cooking, but I want you to put Heisenberg hat and glasses on it.
Okay. Okay. I got something for that.
I get a high fashion Heisenberg, please.
Yes, yes.
I also want whatever you have as well, but then on the inside, like lining where no one else can see it, I just want to have like a stitched outline of a hellhound and a flaming sword.
Okay.
This man's going custom.
Yeah. It's the sigil for my god.
Anybody else? Any special requests for Tilda? Is that all?
I have something in my own brain. I want to hear what you have. So if we can somehow like bake that in, because I'm curious to see what you built out, but I do have something in mind.
Okay.
I'm just gonna look at Tilda. Well, if everyone's getting clothes, I guess I must match the occasion. Not so much for me. I'm a simpleton.
So,
Oh, that's not very nice to you.
She's gonna make you a trunk sleeve.
she goes, "I have ideas, and I'll start with you." And she points at Kazmak. For Kazmak, she walks this rack of robes, and she comes to this kind of real simple, kind of like red, like fabric robe, like almost like it's like an over tunic. It doesn't replace. It's just something you slide over your armor for fancier occasions. And she plucks it off gingerly and brings it back to the mannequin and slides it over. And as she does, you walk up and kind of touch the fabric. It's this paper thin silk. And as you touch it, you can feel kind of like the heat transfer between your fingers. like through the fabric. That's how thin it is.
Damn.
And as you touch it, like as you like touch it with your fingers and rub, like kind of like
Ooh.
the texture, the fabric colors to a bright orange, like the color of
Ooh.
bright orange flames.
That's sick. So it's like whenever it moves, it just changes color.
Yes. So as you kind of like you kind of fluff the fabric and just do one of these, it moves like flame. So
Cool.
the illusion of the fabric doing it. And indeed, she kind of
Badass.
takes it back and she just moves her hands a little bit and casts a cantrip. And you see like a gust of wind shoots from her fingertips. And as the wind hits the robe, the robe kind of dances in the wind and the flames kind of dance along the robe.
You're a star.
This, and she walks over to like this kind of like rack of like these kind of like heavy belts. And she plucks this kind of heavy ornate bronze belt. It looks this real heavy, it's about a 4-inch wide belt that goes right across the torso. And she wraps it around the mannequin. And as she does, you see on the brass head, it's completely void of like any symbology. And she goes,
Okay.
"Who's your god?"
That would be Sutter.
Ah, Sarta. So, and she takes her fingers and you see like her fingertip, like she starts to like etch like the wind with her finger. And as she etches the wind with her finger, you see it starts to like metal starts to like emblazon on the belt buckle.
Ooh.
And at the end of it, you have this real pretty belt buckle with the symbology of Surtur, with the hellhound and the hammer emblazoned on this belt buckle. So what you have, as you kind of put this on and try it out, you have this very pretty reactive kind of like overrobe that goes to about mid-thigh. That as like you move, it gives the illusion of like flames like moving up the robe. And then
That
you
is
have
sick.
big chonky bronze belt that goes around with the symbology of Surtur. She pairs it with these kind of like very light brown leather boots and a pair of like brown, like kind of khaki brown pants.
Hell yeah. I will take it.
Yeah, basically you kind of look like a desert on fire, like at the end of the day, with this big fucking metal kind of like industrial size. Very
Hell yeah.
looks very giant-esque, like it's the vibe of a giant.
I like it.
She moves
I'll-
next. Go ahead.
No, no.
No, go ahead. Do your
Oh,
reaction.
I was gonna just be like, this is awesome. And then as I look to my side, does my duplicate now look the same from my actual cloak? Is there two glowing cloaks now? Just
Yeah, it would just make you look like if you have a duplicate. Yeah, any magical clone or duplicate that takes on your
Exact same.
also wear the robe. It's not magical in nature. It's just very fine.
Yeah.
And she says, altogether, that would be about 25 gold.
That is a hell of a bargain for this kind of craftsmanship, and I will give her 25 gold exactly.
Okay. She moves on to Brahm. She goes, and for you, my Luxodon friend, your accent, I believe it's Deborian, no?
Yes.
Ah, well, I've got something lovely for you. She goes into a rack, and it's in the very back, and it's this kind of like monochromatic rack, a lot of like black and white. And you see her kind of like looking through the rack and moving some stuff around. She finds something, pulls it off the rack and snaps her fingers. The rack snaps back into the side of the wall, and she comes towards you, Brahm, with these very beautiful robes that are much like your white and gold. The white robe with kind of like the gold thread accents all around it, except for these are completely black robes with white accents. So think like an inverse, like Catholic priest robes, essentially.
I was going to say, my Father who art in heaven.
You then have, she also grabs this kind of scarf that has this very intricate kind of like runes etched or sewn into them. And it's very clearly like from Deboria. It's like obviously an import. So you end up with this beautiful kind of flowing, multi-layered black robe with these beautiful white accents and this kind of like 4 to 5 inch wide scarf that wraps around and falls over your shoulders down your front. That is white with black, and then around with like the black thread for the runes. And then in very fine, intricate detail, there's a thin layer of gold that is around the black. So everywhere that there's like an exit of black thread, there's just the thinnest layer, a single line of gold thread. And it gives this beautiful kind of like flowy feel to it. Just the tiniest bit of shimmer as you move in the sunlight.
Oh, goddamn! What is this? Oh, wow. That's impressive. It's simple yet elegant. I guess if everyone is dressing up for the occasion, I must oblige the group.
She goes, "Of course you must." And she spins on her heel to Vinsire. She comes to Vinsire with a measuring tape, measuring the distance from his shoulder to his elbows, from his elbows to his wrist. Then she leaves, exiting through a back of the store, through a little kind of like cloth like entryway. She's gone for a decent amount of time. In fact, off like 4 or 5 minutes before she comes whirling back in.
Sorry, guys. She's no, never mind.
And in her hands, she has this very pretty green fabric, or what looks like this very pretty kind of like hunter green fabric. It is what she presents you with, Vinsire, is a hunter green dress top. It's this very nicely made silk shirt that is 3/4 length. It covers basically down to where my shirt covers currently. This dark hunter green that kind of like shimmers as it's kind of loose. Think kind of like a pirate shirt almost.
Okay.
Instead of a collar, where there should be a collar, it's just a Henley that ends in kind of like a rough cut, like semi-deep V. This kind of like very silk, flowy top. Kind of the color of like the canopy of the woods. Then she presents you with a vest. This vest is woven of grass. It's this like beautifully handmade woven grass vest that's been dyed. The dye pattern is kind of like this. It's like dyed in the pattern of like what's the not corduroy. Jesus, you know what I'm talking about? Everybody wears them. All the white guys wear them. Lumberjacks wear them.
Oh, plaid.
God, thank you, God.
It's flannel?
All the white people wear them.
Yeah, I was like, you got me there, brother.
Yeah.
Christian literally has one on as we speak.
Yeah, I was like, I'm looking at Christian. I'm like, why? So it's this hand woven grass vest that's been dyed in a plaid pattern. Essentially, individual blade of grass, or this long, like this real long, like 12-inch strands of grass, has been dyed a different color of green. And when it's overlaid on top of this green shirt, it gives the illusion of one being in the forest. She also brings with you a pair of trousers that are this kind of like lighter green color that fade, like kind of like taper into like a dark green, almost black. And then she presents you with a pair of hand woven leather black boots. So you kind of have this like green, like tribal like feel going on, very druidy. But it looks like you're wearing like almost like a 2-piece suit. You're wearing like an undershirt and a vest. Very much a vibe for druids.
All right.
But the one special request, we'll go to Henry next. Henry, for you, she sees your hesitance of any of the kind of elaborate things that she's making for the others. These kind of like very loud, like very much like New York Fashion Week outfits, right? Like the Met Gala kind of like, you got people walking around like grass, people walking around in rusted, like very much like eccentric looks. For Henry, she brings back a simple ensemble. It is a pair of black trousers with a black leather belt with a bright silver square buckle. She brings back a white shirt, solid white shirt, save for the buttons, which are dark heather green. They're kind of like almost like look like jade, essentially, the buttons. She then brings to you a new overrobe. This robe is kind of almost exactly the same color, except for as you kind of like move in front of Vinsire, you notice that the fabric like basically shifts as you like move in front of Vinsire. It doesn't like change like a chameleon, but the greens of the cloak shift to the greens of Vinsire, like Vinsire's outfit. She goes, so this is a simple dress robe, save for one thing. And you see her, she has like this needle in her hand, and you see like a flash of motion. Like her hands move with the speed of haste. And you see her just quickly like sewing something on the back of the robe off the mannequin. And then without warning, she flips over the hood. Instead of a normal hood, where the hood would kind of like, the fabric would just drape over the face, the hood actually ends about here. The hood actually ties into this very fancy kind of bowler hat. But the fabric that she used, or the material that she used to stuff the brim of the hat, is loose, just the tiniest bit loose, so where it just flops just maybe a quarter of an inch down over the top of your brow, giving the illusion of wearing both a fancy boy bowler all in one.
I'm just imagining like a onesie hood that's like zipped into a top hat.
Have something I can show you. Anyway, I got a hat here that is, it has a flap back of it that like protects the back of your neck while you're fishing.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yep.
I love it.
It's basically, he literally just grabs his hood, and then and I will say, when she like moves the fabric, when she like picks it up, it just turns into a hood. But when she drops the fabric back down on the head of the mannequin, it into a hat.
Huh.
Just Mother Green robe. She goes, everything is a statement. And she does a sweet little curtsy. She looks at Van F, and you guys look over at Van F. Van F has snuck away, and he's at the discount rack that was
just like.
And you see him kind of looking at a pair of trousers. There's simple brown trousers.
You broke, bitch.
Van F, get over here.
Oh no, I'm fine. I just want pants that doesn't look like I've shit myself.
No, you're gonna get some fancy stuff. We'll get you those pants too. Grab them. That's a hell of a bargain. I see that. What is that? 2 gold? Come on.
Yeah. You see that grabs these like kind of patchwork pants off the rack. He does have some gold. You guys know that he has gold because you've given him gold from the different missions you've completed. Van F comes over. As she looks, she kind of like measures Van F and feels on Van F's shoulders, does his measurements. Henry, I would say that you would notice this because you are magical, trained in the ways of magic. When she was kind of like sizing you up, and like you get the sense that her touching you during introductions was less of like an eccentricity. I can't say the word. Eccentricity.
Eccentricity.
More than an eccentricity, it was something that she needed to do for magical reasons, to like judge like what she wanted to do. She touches Van F, and she kind of takes a moment as she pulls her hand back. I'll have everyone make an insight check.
Woo! Boy's Faye.
19.
14. I know nothing.
12. He's a warlock.
5.
Brom,
Which one again? I can't remember.
insight.
Yeah, fuck.
Oh.
Get off the boob tube, Michael.
I'm on the boob tube. I was trying to get this chair so I can fucking put my feet up. Jesus,
Wow,
13.
your life is so hard.
And we'll edit that out in post. So, DC was 18, so anyone roll an 18 or better gets this, okay? So on an 18 or
I think
higher,
that was just me, boss.
Yeah.
so Vinsire, you clock this. There's a moment where there's like a moment of pause between when she touches Van Eth and like pulls her hand back. There's just the briefest moment of like pause that wasn't there for everyone else. Like almost like not worry or shock, just kind of like confusion.
Distaste? Oh, confusion. Okay.
Yeah. Just the briefest moment of it. She goes, well, I see. Let's see what I can find for you. For Van Eth, she goes to the same rack that she pulled from Kazamak, this kind of bright rack of like reds and oranges. And she comes back with a pair of black trousers, a thick brown leather belt to be worn like over a tunic, a simple gray overshirt, and this very kind of simple but very beautiful crimson robe. As she takes the robe and as she's like kind of walking over and the light hits it in different directions, you can see it's kind of like real pretty, like chromatic rainbow. You got like reds and blues and greens. You got like even like this kind of real dark purple, like virgin on black, all sorts of stuff. And she walks up and she hands it to Van Eth and she says, I think this will do probably best for you. And he kind of slips it on and it's this real simple like ensemble. He just is wearing like an overrobe, this kind of like tight fitting, more like a rogue's robe than like a wizard robe, if that makes sense. Like an over tunic robe. Like kind of like
Hat robe.
kind of like a half cape ensemble that ties off the shoulder, but this real pretty kind of like crimson color. And she goes, yes, I think that will do nicely. So if you like what I made you, great. If you didn't, I question your taste, but there's no need to buy it. We have plenty of things here on the rack. I'm sure you could find anything that you would want. Finally, she kind of like turns to at a start and she goes, wait a minute. Wasn't there another? And she like looks down to diminutive kit. She goes, I'm sorry, young lady. Let's see what I can find you. She goes, I don't have much in your size. She comes back with a pretty cool thing for a monk, I think. She comes back with everything that you would need, including a pair of slippers. She gives you these pair of, there's no other way to say it, these kind of like Japanese style slippers, like thong slippers, but they have a thin thing of leather that wraps over the heel and over the bridge of your foot to keep them on. They're super lightweight, and as you try them on, they feel like you're walking like barefoot without, ow, I just stepped on a stone, or ow, a thorn, or ow, a thing. You can move your toes individually, and the material is so soft and like thin, but so sturdy that you can move your toes individually and feel like rocks underneath individual toes without being in pain. She comes back with these bamboo grass pants. They're the kind of like soft, kind of like almost yellow-green pants. They're like made of like bamboo grass, like ground down and not like thick. I'm not talking like you're wearing like grass, like vest.
Bamboo armor.
You're wearing like bamboo thread pants, essentially. These super lightweight. They're like super baggy at the calf, kind of like layers of bagginess. Think like judo style, like karate pants. These kind of like soft grass bamboo pants. The top is this kind of very gentle, almost like, what's the word? It's not orange, it's not red. It's
Like peach color.
Yes, thank you. This kind of like peach colored top that essentially like kind of like draws out the color of Kit's fur. And then she gives you this real pretty kind of like foliage. Think like a leaf, not like camo, but like a woven leaf, like almost looks like live leaves woven into a cape. And you kind of like wrap it around you. You look like a pile of leaves. She goes, all fox folk in the Feywild wear this. It's the highest of fashion. And she kind
sitting
of
there, sitting in front of the mirror, just like literally just like a pile of leaves on the side of the road in the middle of fall. Just I really do like it.
He goes, don't press the door. Everything I made for you.
I do want to purchase this, but I also have a request specifically for this event.
Well, all sales are fine. Only, of course, alterations could be made, but
No, I want to buy this, and because I do like it, but for the purpose of this meeting, I would like to lean a little bit on tradition, and she's going to go through the describing of. Essentially, think like dark navy blue tang suit, so like Bruce Lee style, like Asian suit that's very fine silk with like very deep color with ornate sort of like cherry blossoms, but the threading and the embroidery is even darker.
She goes, she like as you're describing this kit and like you're going through everything that she wants. She goes, if you all just simply wanted last year's designs, and she snaps her fingers, and out of this like dusty, this like kind of like abandoned, pops out the nicest like black and white tie affair dinnerware that you could possibly want. Everything from like black and white tuxes to dress like suits to like the finest thing. She goes, I don't know why people keep coming back for the same thing.
Well, it's not a black and white suit. It's a dark navy blue suit, and this is what my people wear when we gather. And I'm specifically going to like very much point out like all the details along it, and it's like the slippers are actually pretty on par for what I need, but I just for the sense of what I need for this event, I'm really trying. There's the person in question needs to know who I am, and like talk about her culture, and I don't want to go into it too much, but I just want this. I do want to buy what you made, the leaf pile, but I do want this.
Well, Kit's wearing a leaf pile. It's just still a pile of leaves talking.
He's wearing a leaf robe.
It's literally a ghillie suit.
Very uncomfortable in a grass vest. Henry's Philly hat robe. The only person who looks mildly like they like don't look awful is Kazamak. Even Van Eff looks very silly in a big flowy crimson robe. Like you see his sword like sticking out the back of the robe. Everyone make an insight check.
To see if she's offended or not.
20, dirty.
Oh, natural 20. 24.
Hey, Kazamak,
Let's see. Yes.
I'm gonna send you a text.
Oh.
I
Alright.
had 20. Come
No,
on.
I'll give you some stuff with an insight check, but let me get this nat 20 out of the way.
This is the first whisper I've had the entire campaign.
I've never gotten a whisper.
I can
You
beat
better.
it.
With the 20, Vinsire, you get the sense. Who everyone else roll?
12.
9.
14.
Yeah, the 20 and the nat 20 are what would do it then. So with the dirty 20, Vinsire, something you don't know much about much of the outside world. And this all seems pretty normal to you, wearing grass as clothing. But you don't recall this being the normal fashion in the about 2 months that you've been out. You've never seen anyone else wear grass and sticks and shit but you. So, something, yeah, maybe something a little weird here feels like. Kazamak, I sent you yours.
I know.
Is this gonna like? How do I wash this?
Okay, so Kit, you're kind of like going off on her. She goes, "Fine, here." She walks over to this kind of like to the mannequin, pulls. She goes up to this kind of like rack of fabrics and pulls this blank, like roll of fabric, and just like drags it kind of like begrudgingly over. It's like unrolling on the floor. She's like dragging it over, and she's kind of like drapes a bunch of it over this mannequin, and she goes, "Once more," and she snaps her fingers. And as Kit begins to once more describe what she wants to be designed, you watch as this fawn directs this needle, and you see this like flurry of activity, fabric kind of just like flowing up. You see a pair of scissors come flying off the side of the store and start cutting fabric. Kit gets a fairly passable version of what Kit described. This
It's like
suit. There's some artistic interpretation there around the collar, around the cuffs. Like they do like a double. She does like a double fold on the cuffs, where it's like these kind of like thick cuffs, both on the arm length and the pant length. But yeah,
I'm Andrew. I'm imagining the like in Kuwait, the patches, how they look similar, but they're still not quite right somehow.
yeah. I mean, basically, yeah. Like it's
like close, but like when you look closer, like why is this so chunky?
basically. I mean, it's good though. Like it's good. It is what Kit wanted. It is exactly what Kit wanted. She's got everything she needs. The fawn kind of looks at Kit and goes, "Yeah, so I think 25 gold sounds good. Yeah."
Yeah, and then what about the pile of leaves?
Oh, you could probably just have that. Those are just leaves.
Oh, okay. So you were just gonna dress me in a pile of leaves. I'll just take the shoes, and here's 40 gold, and I'll take the shoes in my suit. Thank you. And I'll walk through the pile of leaves to then plop like a little mini coin purse in her hand.
Okay. Henry, you spot a pair of dark forest green dress robes that are beautifully made. They're already your size. They have a thin, like black fucking like line that comes like down the back of the robe that meets up on the hood. You also spy a hat rack with a number of top hats, bowlers, newsboy hats of different makes, styles, colors. There are some dark green ones. There are some black ones. There are some brown ones. There's even an odd colored white one, like kind of a cream colored white one.
Well, I'm torn. Do I go for the hooded cloak or the hat? How would the hat fit with the hood?
Yeah,
I guess there's only one way to find out.
Could you put the hat on top of the hat cloak? Like just double it up?
I assure you, it's the highest of fashion.
Yeah, I what was your name again?
Oh, I'm Tilda, the proprietor of this shop. Tilda's Styles.
You know what? I'm really gonna have to stop you there, Tilda. My outfit I really like, and I think this actually looks something passable for high fashion. And I'm gonna glance at the rest of the group. But these are all bullshit. There's no way you work here.
Well, of course I work here. But you wouldn't think that I just came in off the street and took over the shop, would you?
I certainly would hope not, because if a random patron stole 25 gold from me, I would hate to see what would happen.
Of course not. I'll be right back. Let me go fetch my partner.
Kazamak, what do you mean I don't look good?
I'm gonna
I'm
cast
sorry.
Hold Person.
Hold person?
Yeah, I don't trust this. Kazamak's giving me the vibes that this person's not to be trusted. You're not going anywhere.
Let me pull up a thing that I can roll on. What's the save here?
Wisdom
Right, DM,
16.
can I Get out of there before all the runes in this store go off and explode Henry.
It's not an attack per se.
She fails epically. She is held. She takes like a step and like freezes, and you just hear her go, "Oh shit!"
I'm gonna just kind of like chuckle and walk over towards her. I'm like, yeah, you know, like I said, mine looks pretty good, but are you kidding me? A thing of leaves, and I'm just like, as she's held, I'm just gonna rifle through her pockets and take my 25 gold back.
Okay. Yeah, you rifle through her pocket. She's got exactly what you guys have paid her.
Yep. Yeah, so I guess thanks for the free cloak, and maybe stick more to, I don't know, whatever it is you do in your day job, because fashion's not it.
Where's the proprietor of this establishment?
I am the proprietor of this establishment. I've worked here for 40 years.
Oh boy, some people can never learn.
Starts like theater crying.
Yeah. I want to just like kind of like roam around the store. Tilda,
Everyone make perception checks.
is this woman tied up in the back?
11.
Team.
16.
Dirty 20.
Those will do it. You guys spend a little bit of time in the shop. You move the curtain of this back area where supposed Tilda went. Lying in a 10 foot by 10 foot square, in the center of a 10 foot by 10 foot square room, is a small gnome, hog-tied in the middle of the floor, with an apple shoved in her mouth, and a handkerchief holding the apple in place. This figure in the middle of the floor, help me! Help me!
Yep. Dunk.
Yeah, you pull them. Oh, thank heavens! Oh my god, did that fawn? Where did she go? Is she still in the shop?
Yeah, she's still out there. I mean, I don't know what the penalty is for theft, but we can definitely report her for you.
Reporter? You caught her?
Yeah, I mean, or kill her. I mean,
Whoa!
Ah, to kill her? How about we untie me first?
I'll just think.
Oh, but when I say it, people have reactions.
You're still on this.
You guys untie this figure in the middle of the shop. This gnome kind of dusts himself off, stands up, all 2 foot tall of them. Kazuma, they come up to your knee. This gnome, supposedly probably Tilda, looks up at you, Kazuma, and goes, "Thank you for that. I'm Tilda, the real Tilda. That fucking fawn, always coming about, causing problems. 40 years. 40 fucking years."
So,
This has been happening to you for 40 years.
Oh, yes. She thinks it's a fun game.
I mean, well, what do you want us to do with her?
Henry,
Henry,
yeah.
What's that?
You go to the back with everybody, or are you with inside of the fawn?
I would stay inside of the fawn.
Henry, the fawn. You're kind of like looking at the fawn and like hearing this conversation happening in the back. The fawn winks at you.
Can I be doing something?
Yeah, go ahead.
While they're all in the back and she's like making eyes at Henry, can I try and strike up a conversation with her?
Sure.
So you said there's more of my people?
I'd be willing to tell you, but you'd have to let me go. It's just a little bit of harmless fun.
As that's happening, I'm gonna walk up and I'm gonna lean into Kit's ear. Here, this might help. I'm gonna hit her with the Zone of Truth, Charisma saving throw 16.
All the spells, baby.
I just want to talk to her. We don't need to like brutalize her.
He fails.
Here, this will help.
I mean,
Now let me. That's the wrong voice. Fine. Now let me go.
you're not gonna run away, are you?
Of course she's gonna.
Of course not. A deal's a deal.
All right. Well, she's telling the truth, so Henry. I mean, I would like to know a little bit more about the Feywild. There's rumors that we're, descendant.
The spell dropped like 2 minutes ago. She's just been standing there.
She winks at Henry again. She goes, like I said, just a bit of fun.
So, you said there's more of us?
Well, of course there's more of you. Why wouldn't there be? You thought you were the only fox folk anywhere. You're probably a small offshoot of a clan that was from the Feywild. Or maybe you're an outcast.
There was always rumor that we were descendants. I mean, we have quite a bit of weird powers. But have you met many?
Well, you live as long as I do. Tend to get bored and tend to seek out others that have the longevity. I've met hundreds of your kind.
So, what brings you to the Blackmore on Zata?
Oh, she kind of like stops pretending that she's held and like starts picking at her horn. She's like, the Feywild is boring, darling. When you've lived to be 845 years old, you tend to want to have a little bit of fun. And to be quite frank, Tilda's voice hits the perfect octave for pleasure.
What's your real name then, if you're not Tilda? Hold on, real quick. What's with people in falsifying their identities? And I'm like, kind of like glance at Henry. Is that just a thing we all do now? Are we so untrustworthy these days?
And then I'm gonna glance at her. Yeah. Is that something
I'm
we do
aware
now?
that I lied about myself, which is why it's weird that it's just such a like societal standard these days.
Tilda's kind of like picking on her. She goes, I don't know anything about any of that, nor does it interest me, but I would tell you that, yes, there's a bunch of you. You pounce about and do foxfolk things, make your dens and find artifacts and hoard them and, nothing fun. But what I will say, yes, I like to come here and cause a little bit of chaos from time to time. Consider it a vacation. Every year I find a way to mess with old Tilda. This year, I simply hogtied her and stole her clientele.
Is that kidnapping?
No, I didn't take her anywhere.
But you didn't let her leave.
Ah, well,
Wrongful imprisonment, I think that's what they call that.
I don't stick around to find out, to be completely frank.
I have a
You
proposition.
can be whoever your actual name is. You don't need to be Frank.
I have a proposition for you, Tilda. We have a place not far from here that I think could use sprucing up. It's been kind of not very decorated yet. I mean, you clearly have an eye for some sort of decoration. Not like point to the pile of leaves on the ground. I mean, that was fun, while it stayed on the clothing that you put it on. Would you want to, I don't know, hang out at the Bastion for a bit that we own? And I would just really like to learn more about the potential others that are, I'm related to.
Oh, gods, that sounds awful. Tied down to one place, all at once. No, why would I want to do that? I just told you.
Stay there permanently. But
Listen, if you're ever in the Feywild, ask for honey.
Honey.
Come to an agreement of some sort. She looks at Henry again, wink again at Henry, and then turns on her heel. The moment she turns on her heel, like she does like a spin on her heel, gone.
I'm gonna be screaming if the poop goes, how do you get to the Feywild? Henry,
don't worry,
do you,
kid,
do
we'll
you
figure
know
it
how
out.
to get to the Feywild?
Yes.
Kazamak, you are in the back with the real Tilda, and she goes, "My God, That's what she dressed you all in? How many of my clients did she send out like that?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
God,
mean,
have to get to the casino. You guys watch as Tilda goes sprinting past all of you out of the store. And if you were to peek your head, you'd see her sprinting towards the Silver Serpent Casino to undo whatever damage Honey has done to her clientele. You are standing in the store. A fine establishment of very nice clothing on these racks, with just about anything that you could possibly want at your fingertips. Beneth takes off the silly crimson, like deep crimson robe, like just keeps the brown pants, the dark leather boots, and the white tunic, and the kind of like leather overjacket, this brown leather overjacket, and leaves 50 gold on the counter and walks out of the store.
God dang, 50 gold.
I'm just gonna take this green shirt. I'm gonna leave my grass vest. I'm gonna take my pirate shirt. It feels right. I liked it.
I definitely still like the shoes and my suit. I'll just leave the money. Like I'll for real Tilda's troubles of being tied up for a year. 40 gold can.
He was tied up for a whole year?
Everyone's just stealing from the real Tilda now.
Once a year, she comes and fucks with her for like a day.
Okay.
Who's left in the store at this point? Did everybody stay?
At this point, I think it's just Brahm and Henry and Kazamak.
yeah.
I'm kind of looking around the shelves to see if there's anything else that like, because if Tilda was just saying like that's what she dressed you in. Now I'm having second thoughts about what I'm wearing. Like, oh, is this not good?
I'm still keeping my shit.
I'm gonna grab the hood, the cloak, the nice black cloak, nice white shirt still, and I'm grabbing a hat. I have a cool hat.
Oh yeah, you're gonna grab like a bowler, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. I was gonna. Is there anybody that looks like any random patrons that look like they're about to walk in?
No, this is at the end of the store. This is a very small shop. Like people only come here for, like to get specially made outfits.
Okay.
And like tapestries and shit made like that for like their homes.
Interesting. Okay. Then I need nothing more in the store.
As you guys exit the store, and Brahm, we'll talk at the break for your other shopping stuff anybody wants to do. But you guys kind of like exit this store and spend the rest of the afternoon of your first day of downtime, kind of like shopping. We're gonna take a break. So go ahead and
Dinner time.
I'll see you guys back here after the break. Yeah. See you in a bit.
Oh!
Hey there, and welcome back to Dungeons Dark. I'm your Dungeon Master, Andrew Taylor. Welcome back from break. We did a little bit of break time shopping to spare us having to do about 2 hours of shopping roleplay for this. So we did a little bit of shopping. What that looked like is Vinsire and Brahm on the first night after they returned from Tilda's textiles and that debauchery that happened there. The next morning, they transport via plants to Calypso, where they spend the day and the evening shopping, picking up healing potions, a potions kit or a poisoner's kit, some stuff like that. So they stop by the magic item shop. They do some shopping at the Ironclad Armory. Vinsire also picks up a sickle. We deducted all the gold from their inventories and everything for the night. So we're good there. They return on the third day of this 4-day downtime period with the rest of the party. In the meanwhile, as Kazamak has kind of put up this list of needs that the party is looking to get magic item wise, there's a couple of things that people want to add. So let's go ahead and walk through those. Kit, what are you adding to? And remember, we're not metagaming, so you're like, I want something that increases my strength is fine, but I want a ring of protection. Marie is probably not.
I have no idea how magic works, so I'm just gonna write and do a little doodle of what I think would be really cool looking. Is essentially just little wrist wraps or hand wraps, what would go under boxing gloves that wrap between the fingers that protects my hands a little bit. But the major purpose is that I can hit harder with them because I don't feel the pain. So it's just boxing or UFC hand wraps.
Very cool. Anybody else have the list of Kazamak's workshop? Good, Henry.
If just straight up cloak of protection won't work, I'm just gonna write on there, Kazamak, please make me harder to hit. Thank you. Warmest regards, Henry.
My entire list is taken up with the letter that he wrote on my item list.
Yes.
Hey, Rob.
I'm gonna put Ring of Protection and the
God damn it.
Amulet of Devotion.
Oh my goodness. We can't, there's no metagaming. You have to be able to describe what you want me to make, because I just have to build it. You have to somehow describe that to me.
Okay. Well, it's gonna be a religious symbol of the pantheon of gods. So we'll do.
Is it?
No, just all you got to do, Mike. You can't just name the item. You don't know. It's not like you know that you don't have. You're looking at a list of items, which is a no anyway.
I'm not looking at a list of items.
You should just
be like a Vorpal longsword, please.
You should just be writing on the list I want to be harder to hit. I want something that makes me tougher, stronger, faster.
Yeah. Stuff like that. And then I will pick something essentially that I think works.
Okay, I want to be okay, so I'll put on the list. I want to be harder to hit, and then also I want something to give me additional cleric powers and channel divinity.
Okay.
Perfect. Anybody else have items they want to add to the list?
A football.
Is this the Kazamak request list?
Yeah. It's called Kaz's Workshop.
A way to an automatic irrigation system for the garden.
So to Vinsire's point, it doesn't have to be magical items. I can attempt to build literally anything or custom build literally anything. It has to be certain things I won't be able to do.
I want a giant metal bird that can hold me and my friends and fly at high rates of speed.
Give me 50 years.
You have 5.
Can you build me a tunnel network from the underneath the house to the water?
Is that an item?
As we wake up.
Well, that was my addition to the list, which was genuine and sincere.
Irrigation system? Okay.
Tunnel.
Not an item.
So, as you guys you spend the next couple of days shopping, crafting items, researching. You wake up on the fourth morning. This is the day that you are to host Orion and some unknown guests. So as you do your daily activities, Kit's working out. Henry visits the arcane study to do research and scribe in his book. Kazamak's working in the workshop. Vinsire is tending to the garden and making potions, and Brahm is in the chapel working with
Xavier.
working with Xavier on different reliquary items. However, this day is different. You guys dawn around midday. You guys dawn in your separate quarters. You don your special outfits that you picked up at Tilda's. You kind of, at the same time, kind of exit your rooms. You're standing in the second story of the main house here, outside your doors, and kind of looking around at everybody in their different fancy outfits. So, as you guys, it's about a couple of hours before you're expecting the guests to arrive at 6. It's about 1 o'clock. So you guys are standing in the hallway. Anything that you would like to say, role play, talk about in preparation for your dinner guests? Kit, anything that you would like to lead with?
I'd like to find Vin while we're just like getting ready. He's putting on his like woven grass vest.
I didn't keep I got the shirt.
It's already
Green
rotted.
pirate shirt.
One
But
thing.
that's it.
Yeah, he kept the kind of like green, like silk Henley, essentially.
I didn't take the pants, the same dirty pants. I just have a pirate shirt on.
I thought the vest looked very nice on you.
It felt like leather, you know? Does that make sense?
I mean, yeah, I know what leather feels like. I don't think it was made of leather though. It looked rigid, but I mean, it looks proper.
I'm like, yeah, but you get what I'm saying.
As you guys are kind of like standing in the hallway having this conversation, the rest of you are kind of like just patting out your wrinkles and things. You take a quick look around and you realize that Van Neth is missing. He has not, you haven't seen him today.
Where does he normally stay in the Bastion?
He has a room up here on the second floor. You haven't seen him today.
There's just like a stone floor with hay thrown out.
But he's got a great bedroom, just like a typical bed. You guys' bedrooms haven't been like personalized yet. You haven't been there long enough. You basically just have like a bedroom at this point.
I think that I've recently cultivated and harvested some of my Warfu plants. And I'll go find Vaneth because I want to offer him some.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and make an investigation check.
Okay.
Can I go with Vincent?
Roll the natural 20.
Nice.
Whoop.
Yeah. Vaneth, with a natural 20, you spend about an hour searching the grounds, starting in the big house. Vaneth is nowhere on these grounds.
Huh.
Think he just like up and left?
I mean, he was here yesterday. Right?
Correct.
Yeah, he was there when Henry told us all some of his secrets, and now he's
That was
missing.
4 days ago.
Oh, well, sure. That's fair. I mean, it could be doesn't really want to be part of the dinner party, or maybe he went to, I don't know, get supplies. I have no idea.
Does anyone have any way of like reaching out to him or anything?
Brahm. Is he with us?
Yeah.
Why don't we test out that item you bought a while back?
Which one?
Brahm, you've only really bought in one. You have a mirror in
Is that big fucking mirror on the wall?
I went to Calypso and bought some potions, so I bought something else.
So there's a mirror in Brahm's in like the
Oh,
yeah.
I have
We
I have a
have the
portable
orb.
one.
Oh, the portable one that works even better. Yeah, that works. Henry, why don't you try to find him?
I was working on it, then you guys all started getting weird.
Yeah, but we haven't used the mirror yet. Don't you want to like, break the seal?
I've already
That's
used
true.
another.
Are we willing to waste the time in case he's in danger?
No, I'm gonna scry on him.
Henry, what's the save on that?
Oh, it's the same as scry, which I
A
don't have pulled
32
up.
because
It-
Henry is a dragon.
It should.
Something.
Is it against your spell save?
Their wisdom, something.
If
Something.
it's wisdom, it's 16.
So is Henry like a partially banished god? Like your pieces are scattered and you have to like put yourself back together?
All right, I have to create a new character.
Henry, you tried to scry even just to see like the location, like basic understanding. You cannot get through. Something blocks you.
Oh,
That box?
I made I succeeded on the save.
He doesn't.
Do we want
seem
to try
to
the
be-
mirror? Do we gotta
Yeah,
try?
I mean, let's try the mirror now. I mean, if your thing failed.
Well, I
You
mean,
can't do it, Henry.
What? Hey.
yeah, I mean,
Fucking mirror.
I mean, go ahead. The mirror's there.
Is it in the chapel?
yeah.
So you guys-
the creepy
Chapel. Yeah, you guys make your way to the chapel quickly, and it's on the second floor, so it's in this building, right down the hall. At the end of the hall, you make your way to the chapel. You get to the scrying mirror. The save is the exact same, so I'll make another save.
Who's gonna do it though?
I make the save.
Yeah.
Oh, you role playing?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just an item, so we just have to try to look for him.
I know, so I'm just curious who's gonna roleplay it though.
I would say I just walk over to it.
Mirror.
Show me Veneth.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, show me the man whose name I can't recall.
Yeah, so you walk up to scry on Veneth. Then you try to scry on Veneth. You feel it kind of like there's a temporary moment where you feel the mirror kind of like start to work its magic. However, the moment that it starts to coalesce into an image that would show Veneth, it goes back to being a normal mirror. Something on the other side that Veneth has seems to be blocking the effects.
Oh, Kazimak, if you can't do it, man, that's okay.
Oh, I know. It's not me. It's this item. So
Right. No, yeah. I never said it was. Why would you assume that? Why would you even say that?
This thing worked when we bought it, right?
Henry, make an Arcana check.
can I help him?
Yes.
26.
Oh.
I rolled
Make-
poorly. 16.
So remember, when you make the help action,
That's right. Yeah. It's
Henry just roll advantage, but a 26 does it anyway. Henry, the 26, more than enough. You get the sense from the scrying orb and then from the way the mirror reacted. You've seen this kind of magic before. It's a fairly common item with people that you used to associate with. An amulet of proof against detection would easily stop the effects of these items.
Oh yes. Well, obviously, I see it now. My spell didn't fail, and neither did Kazimak's. Venus simply has an item that won't allow him to be scryed upon.
Right. Right. That has to be it.
That's it.
Maybe we could ask Doreen if she's seen him recently, like this morning or something.
That's a good idea. I should, Vinsire. Side note: as our leader, I feel like you should be more supportive and less sarcastic when we do things. Just throwing it out.
Also,
I'm not
Me too.
enjoying either part of that.
as the leader, maybe your accountability should be a little bit like more lock and step, but that's a conversation for later. We can vote on it.
Yeah, Step Sarge.
Was there a vote? Did you think this was a democracy?
Oh, so you are the leader. Oh, someone's finally stepping up to his potential.
No, I'm just kidding.
for Reed. On the first level, preparing for the feast. She is cooking prime rib. There are a slew of roasted vegetables from carrots, potatoes, whole onions, green onions, peppers, all sorts of like vegetables just thrown in there. There's whole cloves. Like it's a veritable like feast around this prime rib. There is this kind of like thick noodle, like cooked in like a brown gravy for like starch. So it's cooked in like the juices of the steak or the prime rib. She's busy like preparing it and getting it ready for presentation. You guys are about 2 hours away from your guest arriving at this point. You ask Doreen if there's been any sighting of Eneth, and she kind of responds with, "Well, I saw him. Well, I didn't see him, but the staff reported him leaving bright and early this morning. Well, I wouldn't even say bright, but around 2 o'clock, I guess. The evening shift reported Mr. Vaneth mounting a horse and riding out of town.
They say which horse he got on?
A black one, I believe."
Oh no.
Well, to
would
me,
murder this
hey,
man.
guys, I have a tree that'll take us right to the city.
Well,
Um,
I mean, we don't want to be gone too long, right? I mean, we've only got what 2 or 3 hours until the guests are here, right?
that's a fair point.
I guess
Whoever was
guests
running-
or lightly.
My horse.
Well, maybe you should have done a better job watching it. I don't know, Henry.
Well,
Leaving it there for just anyone to take. Someone
I
help him,
disagree
he's
with
having a
Kazimak.
stroke.
Henry, it's okay. We'll get him back. He'll come back.
Okay, Kit.
While they're all like chit chatting, can I walk over to the corner and like grab my amulet and commune real quick?
Sure.
3 questions. Firstly, is Vaneth still on Blackmore Island? Second question, does he wish to leave us as a group, an entity? And third question, does he have ill intentions against the group? Those are the 3.
The first response, you get back a feeling of strong, like a strong northerly wind. Like the feeling of like a cold breeze, like rattles, like you're almost like a cold, like you can almost like feel the spray of water on you. The second, does he wish to lead the group as an entity? This response is weird in a sense that it gives you this feeling of unease, as if Vaneth was never really a part of the group. Third, does he wish to do you harm? There is an unsureness to the response from your ancestors. You get a sense that your paths are similar, but not in direct opposition.
Henry, when we got back and Vaneth had that scroll, he was pretty eager to read it, was he not?
Yeah. Snatch it right out of my hands.
I don't think he's on the island anymore, or if he is, he's not going to be on it much longer. You just got to trust me on this. And it's probably not going to make sense to a lot of you, maybe Brom. I think he's headed toward Bullabine, and I don't think he necessarily was leading on fully to us what his intentions are. I mean, we never really asked, so we can't say he was lying to us because we didn't really seem to care that much. But I do think he's kind of out for his own intentions currently. So
Fair. That's fair.
I think he Also, real quick, does anyone still have the scroll on them?
I don't think we ever got it back from him.
I also never had it. Yeah, Henry gave it to him.
So it's not in like your study or anything.
I mean, I can go check real quick.
You guys do a quick scan. You can't find the scroll.
So I think that kind of solidified the answer that I got.
Well,
Yes. So,
that sucks. Real quick, show of hands. If anybody, no judgment. If anybody disagrees with me, killing him on sight for stealing my horse, please raise your hand.
I would say maybe
Really?
we question him first because he has information that we should probably receive. After the fact, I mean,
Okay.
by all means.
I'm a team player. I just wanted to throw that out there. And if one hand is raised, then I will not kill him on sight. I will wait.
oh,
Andrew, question. I don't, because I can't remember the exact scene. When we found Vaneth, were the other dead, slain people from the supposed Grey Legion, were they also wielding mithril blades?
No.
So it was just...
They had regular swords. He said he took the mithril blade from the leader that he killed, and the two other guards just had regular blades because I was very interested in that part.
Exactly. What happened was Vaneth showed up. Vaneth's story was that Vaneth showed up. They were busy killing. They had just like wrapped up basically killing his family in this small settlement. These like 10 people basically. Vaneth showed up, had nothing but like a flimsy like hunting knife and like a bow and arrow in hand. Was able to hit one and like kill one. The leader gave Vaneth the blade and told Vaneth he'd have to fight to stay alive, and then presumed to just send wave after wave after wave of people at Vaneth in single combat until Vaneth was left for dead. That is what Vaneth told you guys.
and we did insight checks on him too, and he seemed pretty good.
I didn't dive deep into his mind, but he was thinking about his wife and daughter. So
Go ahead, Henry.
I would like to pull the scrying orb back out and scry upon midnight.
Nice, good call.
False.
Down to the age-old adage is a horse, when you're riding a horse, is a horse worn and carried item? I fall on the side of no. This was a thing on Dungeon Court. Does the effect of a magical item like something like this, or like does it apply to the horse as well? I don't think it does, but
Yeah, because your AC doesn't add to it. Modifiers don't change it.
so yeah, you can scribe Midnight. Midnight is currently galloping, kind of like freely in a field, like kind of in a marshy field, like enjoying life, like kicking out, having fun. Looks like Midnight is somewhere on the island currently.
Okay. Whew. All right. Good news, everybody. I don't have to kill him.
Oh,
Yeah. Let it go. Okay. Well, after dinner, I'm gonna go find my horse. But whew. All right. I feel better.
Well,
still, I'm still kind of uneasy about the fact that he took the scroll and dipped so quickly.
Right after finding out my name, yes, I'm very uneasy right now. I'm highly stressed out.
I don't think it's as much about your name, Henry, as that he got a piece
and
of
he
the...
knew about that other thing.
Yeah, and I mean the more unsettling thing is that scroll is like it's incredibly rare. I mean, it's literally never been seen, from what they told us anyway, from anyone but the Triarchs. And it begs the question: is he going off on his?
Remember what it says, right?
I do generally.
Okay.
It begs the question: is he going out on his own, or is he going back to someone with this new piece of information?
Well, I got a feeling that he was heading north. So based off what the scroll says, There's a good chance he's going to see if there's another piece of the puzzle or another clue after the fact.
Well, maybe he's an honest guy, and we'll see him, and he just thought he'd help us out a little bit. I mean, we can't go anywhere. We've got this dinner in a couple hours, but I guess we can head north immediately after.
Would you like me to head north?
No, Brahm, I just said we have the dinner, and then we can head north after the dinner.
Well, there is something that you don't know. I technically am not in the book. So I am technically not part of the group.
Well, I mean, if you want to head north, you can, but I mean, you'll probably die.
Yeah, I just want to clarify. That's just the mechanical thing. It's just a mechanical thing to give you guys the benefit. It doesn't mean that you can't like be a party because you're not in the book. Just to clarify that.
This is the members only dinner tonight.
Club members only. I mean, yeah, I won't stop you from heading north. I don't think it's safe, but
I mean, what are you gonna do once you get there?
Observe.
observe what?
We shall see if everyone is fine with me heading north.
Last time you went out on your own,
You almost drowned.
Hydra almost killed you. Then there was that time you almost drowned, and then there was that time that. No, I think it was only those 2 times, but still.
Well,
I mean,
there
things
was
come
that
in
one
threes.
time. There was that one time you got scammed for being an ass to the stable hand. I think maybe you should just stick with us.
I won't stop you, Brahm, if you want to go north, but I mean, we've got literally no way to contact you as far as I'm aware. So,
Here, take some of this.
what are you doing?
What'd you do?
War food. You get here, take that. You just nibble on that. That's good.
Hey, I think Bensire is trying to give you drugs, but I mean, if you want to head north, I won't stop you.
Andrew, I will head north as long as I don't leave the island.
What? It doesn't make any sense. To head north, you have to leave.
Oh, so he came off the island. Got it. So he's already off the island. Is what I'm understanding. Then. I thought he was still on the island. I thought he came.
Island in a lake. It's
Yeah,
a sea island. I mean, you're an island in the. It's a big ass lake called Lake Blackmore, and there's the island of Blackmore, and the city of Blackmore. Yep, that right there.
I know. I didn't know if he was still on the island. That was my big.
We're at like the northernmost point at our bastion.
Yeah.
Mm.
Go ahead.
Dude, question: if we were to look outside of the dock, we never had a boat, correct?
No,
Do we know if people can ferry to our bastion from said dock?
I mean, yeah, of course they could. Yeah, anywhere on the lake you can get to the canal, which is the northwest section of the lake, and it runs from there to the canal town to the northwest.
Which is, would that go straight to Goodgrass then?
It does, yeah.
Well, I mean, after the dinner, I mean, maybe tomorrow we could head back to Goodgrass. Do we have a tree that you can go to?
I do have a train on like the edge of good grass.
I mean, it's a pretty safe bet. That's where he went. That's really the only part that he could go to, at least to start, and that's our heading. But I mean, we do have a dinner with Dickhead and friends, so.
Dinner with Daddy.
And speaking of that, what I mean, I know you probably don't know this guy much better than us, but more than I do. Do you anticipate anything hostile, Kit, or is this, you think it's gonna be just like a random dinner, or?
I mean, I would say there's always a chance of it at least being, passive aggressively hostile. If you do stupid things, he'll do stupid things, kind of thing.
Mm.
But I mean, again, I don't know him much better than you all. He's just sort of made me his, employee.
I think we should have a code word that if we think shit's gonna pop off, as the younger ones say, that we can, that maybe Kit can say, so that we know ahead of time and we can all jump them.
I mean, I'm all ears for any suggestions. I mean, you clearly have something. Kumquat?
Bukaki.
Something better than that. I don't think I've ever said that word in my entire life.
Well, say something that seems simple enough.
How about I must go pray?
I think we're just overthinking this. Just say something like, I don't know, I'm done eating. Something simple like that.
But
if you say I'm done eating, I'll start throwing
What if
blows.
the sign needs to happen like way before that?
Then you can say I'm done eating, Vinsire. That's why it's a sign. It doesn't matter when you say it.
But then what do we do with the? Do we hear the word and then we just pop off?
I'll tell you what. You guys continue talking about what kind of safe words you want.
No, I need to know what happens after the safe word happens. Do I just hit someone? Or
Hear me out. Hear me out. I will say, and remember this, cowabunga it is, and you just start throwing hands. Right immediately, like if you hear that, DEFCON 5.
All right.
What is DEFCON 5?
Easy enough for me.
Like, the worst, if you saw the worst, like, portrayer god, what would you want to do to them? Probably fuck them up, right? That, but Orion's face.
It's a god. It's hard to fight.
Well, while you guys are talking about this, I'm gonna go ahead
Worst follower I have ever met.
Kazumak, once he heard the word, he's gone off to his workshop to just continue tinkering until it's time for dinner.
In the interim before dinner, I'm gonna go back up to my room and summon Philip back.
That bitch.
Yeah, about fucking time. I don't know why you think you can just leave me out in the cold. You can't do this without me, old pal.
Is it cold when she's not here?
You're right, Philip. You're right. I do apologize. I brought you a wheel of cheese. I just needed a break and some time with my thoughts.
It's time to do some bullshit, more like.
Well, Philip, you do know me. You do know me. Anyway, enjoy your cheese. There's going to be a dinner tonight, so you better be on your best behavior. Wear your top hat, and let's be good.
You got around about 6 p.m. hear a knock on the door.
I'll get it. I'll get it.
Someone get the door.
I'm going.
Is it Brian?
So Henry, you move downstairs or from wherever you are, and you open the door, expecting to see most likely Orion or another elven figure. However, you open the door, and at first glance, there's no one until you look down. Standing in front of you, and huddled around them, and more coming around the corner of the house, are a gang of about 10 foxfolk.
Kit, you better see this. Please come in.
They kind of walk in. You see, they don't look malnourished. They don't look cared for, but they don't look malnourished. Their clothes are slightly dirty. It looks like some care has been taken to clean them. You press digitation as they come through the door, but they don't look worse for wear. Kit, as you come running down the steps, or walking down the steps, and then break into a run when you see what's entering the house, there are about 10 foxfolk here. All of them are under the age of 100 years old.
Ladies.
Is there any I would recognize obviously all of them, but is there any of them that are have more standing within the group, or are they all like the pup?
No, they're all just like basically like younglings. They're all pups. They're all just like normal den members, just like living their lives.
What is their reaction when I walk into the foyer?
There's one that kind of recognizes you. We'll call her Delilah. She goes, "Kit."
Oh, hello, little ones. This is odd. Come with me, and I'm gonna like just escort them, just not really knowing what to do, to the main hall where we're doing the dinner, and I'm just gonna try my best to act normal and put on a show for like the children, essentially.
Yeah, I mean they're not like kids. They're all like under 100. I mean you're 300 and some years old, but they're all under 100. But they're not like. There are a handful that are like younger, that are like 20
like teenagers.
Yeah, but these are like young adults essentially. They're like the one Delilah. She goes, "We can't, not yet."
Is Orion like lurking behind them somewhere outside?
You guys having like shut the door behind this like group, the door kind of like just gently pushes open, and in through the threshold steps Orion. He goes, "Oh, I see you've already met most of your dinner guests. Kit, you see, these are your people, of course, all in good standing and healthy, and oh, look, you've even cleaned them up. Good. Go ahead, tell Kit, you've all been treated fairly." The Delilah kind of like begrudgingly looks at Orion, like casts him like this, like kind of like super dirty fucking look, and goes, "I wouldn't say we were treated nicely, but we were treated mostly with respect. We were." But the Inari, he like Kit kind of like Orion kind of like throws a glance at Delilah, and the moment he does, she stops talking. He goes, No, not best not to spoil the surprise. That's not for you to tell. How about we all have a seat and wait for the guest of honor while Kit and his friends catch up." And Orion, without like even like pausing a second, like strides and bumps past all of you. Very comfortable. Like Kazamak makes a point to bump into you. Go ahead, Kit.
Looking at the 10 of them, do they all have black marks on their hands or any sort of marking on them?
They do not.
They're just battered people.
Yep. Hostages.
But they don't have any sort of like, I mean, you wouldn't really see bruising, but like torn fur or like lashes or anything.
No, you do not. You see no signs of obvious torture. Obvious signs of torture.
Well, that being said, after he like arrogantly brushes through, I'm still going to do my best to gather my kin and treat them as nicely as I can, considering they have not been treated nicely at all.
Okay.
And I'll offer up assuming they have any sort of right to like walk around, offer up my room if any of them want to like freshen up, like clean themselves past prestidigitation.
As you guys are kind of like getting these people set, Ryan goes, it's about 30 minutes in. Orion's kind of been picking at like there's like I almost said poo-poos. There's appetizers kind of like out, like just like, you know, big little tiny pieces of bread with like garlic butter and stuff like that, like little tiny things. And Orion's kind of like picking at the edges of the food. He goes, looks outside the window and goes, "Well, best be prepared. The guest of honor's arrived."
I'm going to get prepared.
You notice, I won't even make you roll an insight check. There is a noticeable tension that rolls through the foxfolk who are gathered in this around, sitting at this central table, kind of like feverishly eating. They look like they've been fed, but they've not been fed well. They're destroying the appetizers, like waiting patiently for the main course, but like destroying these appetizers. And they're kind of like nervously like looking around, like looking to Kit for reassurance, looking to the party, these people they don't know, the giant in front of them. Most of them will never have seen that giant, a half giant, let alone, any resemblance of one up close. But you see this tension roll through them, and they kind of all sit up straight. And then there's a knock at the door. Orion gets up, dusts the crumbs off of his shirt, and moves across. It's dark outside. It's about, judging by probably real close to right on 6 o'clock. Orion opens the door, clears his throat, and says, announcing the mother of the elven people, Aina.
Oh, what the fuck?
Through the doorway steps a 5'11" wood elf with bright red hair, red eyebrows, beautiful elven features, and narrow elven face, eyes the color of amber. Her body thin and athletic, covered loosely in a thin elven dress of soft silk, the color of heather. Moves down to her feet, which are bare, and she gently steps into the room. She goes, well, quite a pleasure to meet you all formally. You are a stubborn lot. She steps through the doorway. Orion closes it gently behind her. But there's a pause between when she steps through and you hear the doorway close. And as Aina rounds the corner and you catch her in full glimpse, and she takes a couple of strides into the room, between her and Orion steps a third figure. Kit. You recognize this figure immediately as the Kino Kage.
Oh.
The Kino Kage wears a thin copper collar made of metal around his neck that resembles closely those kind of same workmanship and craftsmanship as the crowns that were placed on the heads of the triarchs that were ultimately their demise. The Kino Kage, seeing Kit and seeing the foxfolk arranged around the table, says, or pauses, I should say. And as he pauses, Aina looks back over his shoulder and says, come, dog. And you see just the briefest flicker of pain as you hear almost like a sound, like a needle, like a puncture sound. You see the Kino Kage straighten up. A single line of blood runs down his solid white fur, and he walks forward closely behind Aina. Sit. The place of honor, of course, is yours. You are indeed the Kino Kage. These are indeed your people. She gestures to the head of the table, a place where Orion had pulled out for her. The Kino Kage timidly walks forward and sits. Everyone make an insight check as the Kino Kage takes his seat, and as Aina strides to stand beside him.
22.
Got it, Henry.
Oh, it's natural 1.
10.
21.
He's really happy to be here.
19.
He looks like a nice fellow.
The Kino Kage was not, this is surprising to him. He had no idea where he was going when he was brought here. This is purely a surprise to him. It is a surprise to the foxfolk. They are as flabbergasted as any of you. She goes, standing, Aina kind of moves over to stand behind the chair, wraps her hands, these thin elven hands, beautifully manicured, over the leather back of the chair. The Kino Kage's head coming up no further than halfway up the back of the chair. She goes, surely you have questions. Why am I here? Why are your friends free? And why is your leader here? So, ask. I will not hide. I plan to use you as a tool. Good.
Not a question to her, but above table. The collar, is it actively forks into his neck, or is it just loose until something she does something?
Can't really tell.
Okay. It's like fur hiding most of it.
Correct. It's pretty tight. thick, like 2-inch band of copper, or brass, excuse me, that like goes across. Brass, copper, whatever. Doesn't matter.
I'll just speak up. I mean, who are you? I heard your titles, I saw what you did, but I mean, who are you?
My name is Aina. I'm an elf, or was. Not quite sure what I am now. Some call me Hag, some call me Hexblood, but I am an elf. I was born Aina Va Greatwood, and that is the name that I choose to keep. Not Va Bleeding Wood. I am here because your Kinokage, long ago, did something to my people. He played a game, and I am here to expose him, to gain your trust, and to gain your aid.
I'm gonna look at the Kinokage as she's speaking. What is his facial expression?
Dread.
Does he look at anyone, or is he just like...
He is staring directly at Kit. Directly.
So when I make eye contact with him and it's dread, is it like the sort of dread where it's like I'm gonna be the immediate like role model aspect of me is going to be ripped away and people are gonna see me for what I am? Or is it like a dread for what's to come, I guess? I don't know how to really word that, but I think I kind of got that across.
I don't think you can get that finite. That would be like Rule's thoughts. You can't get that from an insight check. You can get dread from an insight check, but I don't think you can get finite. This is exactly what he's dreaded. So I'll give you that. He's filled. He is definitely filled with dread about whatever is happening here. He goes, well, I expected you to be more vocal. But she bends over and plucks a slice of the prime rib with her fingers, like drops it delicately into her mouth and chews it. A thin line of juice runs down the corner of her mouth, down her chin. She picks up a napkin and dots it daintily. Good.
As she's eating, I count 10. Where are the rest?
300 are dead. The rest, your younglings, every single foxfolk that was younger than you is dead. Or excuse me, every foxfolk that is older than you is dead.
None left to remember.
Kit's gonna just like standing at the edge of the table, like dig her claws into it, so like chunks of it are like breaking up, but still trying her damnedest to like put on as calm of a demeanor for the under 100 pups.
Okay.
Since I'm now the eldest family member they have outside of the Kinokage.
She gestures to the pups at the table and goes, these 10 are special. They resisted my questions on magic. They alone did not break of the younglings. They are a good lot, kind even, empathetic. They'll do nicely, I think. She like looks at the Kinokage. What do you think? He like looks up at her, like eyes like pleading. She goes, nothing to say. For all your lies, your puppeteering. Nothing. She looks at the table. Nothing to say for yourself? Fine. I'll show them. She looks at the Kinokage, and you see her bring her right arm up, and as she does, she makes a slashing movement. You watch as the Kinokage's throat opens at the dinner table, spraying outward and covering everyone in front of him in a thin layer of blood. But as she brings her hand across through the air, you see the fingers start to work. And as she brings her hands back in front of her, Henry, you hear her chanting magic incantations that you do not know. You do not understand the basis of the magic that she is casting. And as the blood sprays and she brings her hands into the final movements of the spell, the blood stops moving. It sits mid-spray in the air. She twists her wrist, and you see the blood start to pool out of the Kinokage. It becomes this living thing that she moves freely about the room, draining him of his lifeblood. And you begin to see shapes coalesce in the blood. And as it does, she lashes out, and the blood splatters, covering the room. I need everyone who would like to make a wisdom saving throw. The DC is 20.
Wait, everyone who wants to?
Correct. You feel a magical effect hit you as the blood hits you. You see shapes begin to coalesce in the blood, but as it sprays out and hits you, I need everyone to make a wisdom saving throw.
I'm all in the blood. I'm all in.
I'm gonna just not try to do anything because I'm just like locked in to whatever's going on.
I failed.
I'm horrified. It got in my eyes.
I got a 23.
Okay.
13.
Give everybody an out. Brahm, you watch as the blood sprays into everyone's eyes, including yours. However, you're able to keep the blood from diving into your eyelids. The rest, you look on in horror as the rest of the table falls into a trance. Their eyes covered like seemingly eyes of blood. The rest of you find yourself leaping through a forest. You bound effortlessly from tree to tree, disturbing not a leaf and leaving not a single sound as you go, until with a leap, you land at the edge of a pond nearby your den. You bend over to see your reflection in the still water. Your fur is pure white, not a speck of color to be found, not a wrinkle lines your face regardless of your 230 years. You peer around the woods, and something seems out of place. The birds are alerting. Someone is approaching. You spot him on the other side of the pond, a lean, robed figure, male by the looks of the shoulders. As the figure approaches from the pond, they call out. Hello there. You wouldn't happen to call this place home, would you? I have need of directions and have information to trade. A tale that you won't believe. You respond, I do live here, close by at least. I might be able to help. Show me your hands and come on over, and we can have a conversation. As the figure moves closer to you, you note two things. First, that their face is covered heavily beneath voluptuous layers of several different cloak hoods. And second, that they bear no visible weapon. Mage, you think to yourself, or maybe a lost drunk. The stranger replies, Thank you. I'm looking for a large gathering of your people, actually, called The Den, I think, perhaps, and a man, maybe referred to as the Kinokage. You wouldn't happen to know anything like that, would you? You pause a moment, not knowing the terms, but think back. No, I can't say that I do, but hasn't been a group larger than 10 on Zata for hundreds of years, and I've never heard of this. Stranger replies, Damn, I thought I could find them. Oh well, a deal's a deal. I have information that bears hearing if you're willing to listen. The robed figure sits down and begins to spin a story. Over the course of the next 48 hours, you spend time hearing the tale of this robed figure. Explains that soon, in around 100 years or so, a power was going to rise in the south. That a man known only as the Grey Emperor would conquer all of the continent and establish a grand empire. He tells of a great raid of fire giants against a large gathering of the foxfolk. He tells of Aina and her possession of the artifact known as the Celestial Orb, and the great danger she poses to everyone, including the Emperor. He speaks of other smaller things, rise and falls of settlements, famines, droughts. He speaks of a secret order called the Arcanum Tenebrae and their role for the Emperor. You take note of it all, wanting to believe it all. His conviction makes it seem as though he's not a jabbering person, not insane or drunk, but true. At the end of it all, the man simply thanks you for your time and gets up to leave, never once allowing you to see his face beneath the robes. As he sits to leave, you shout out, "What's your name, sir?" So that I might attribute this prophecy. The stranger just replies with, "I'm just a simple pilgrim, friend." The vision dies out. Brahm, you are struggling to hold out the blood from your eyes. You watch as your friends, the blood starts to turn in their eyes. The kind of shapes that are floating in the blood start to change and kind of coalesce into different sort of objects. You can't really make out what they are. Go ahead and make another wisdom saving throw for me, please. DC is still 20.
Natural 20, baby.
You again see none of this.
You're just missing out on a super cool vision.
Brahm, as you watch, I'll note that everyone, including Aina, is in these trances. Like she seems she's still moving and casting the spell, like concentrating on the spell, but she's also have her eyes are covered in red, as do the 10 foxfolk in front of you. For you that are affected by this blood, the first vision fades, and you're standing in front of a small mirror. You're slightly older, maybe 70 years older. You have another tail that is sprouted, your third. Your fourth. As you stand there, you think back 70 years ago to the Pilgrim's prophecy and how you laughed at the things that he said. But now it's proven itself to be anything but a laughing matter. At first, you thought it's simply coincidence that the plague he predicted would hit the corn harvest. Then it came and decimated the crop. Next, it was the whispers of smaller portions of the man's predictions, famines, rises and falls of settlements. For the last 10 years, however, you have lived by the predictions of the Pilgrim, plotting to take advantage of the prediction, perfectly placing yourself to pounce. It's worked. Your small den of one has grown to 30, with multiple litters on the way. You began calling yourself Kinokage, and shaping the den's followers to your way of thinking. That is, hide in the shadows and strike only when you know the rules of the game. Collect information whenever and wherever possible, but never reveal your true nature. That last bit is critical. If the Pilgrim's still out there, you think to yourself, he may not be happy with me exploiting this prophecy. As you tap the small amulet around your neck and look at it in the mirror, the scene ends. As it turns away, and a third scene begins to coalesce in your vision. Wrong. Make a wisdom save.
You're missing some interesting philosophical conundrums.
Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's shit. Natural 1.
Wow.
You die.
The blood rushes into your eyes.
You're blind permanently.
You are caught in a very confusing scene because now you are way lost in the fucking sauce. However, the rest of you, a third scene begins to coalesce, as if you yourself are living it. You will once again walk quietly, but this time through the winding halls of the stone mountain fortress of the man they call the Grey King. He was no one a year ago, and he's conquered all of southern Zada's tundra in that time, building a formidable 1,000-man army along the way. This has to be him, you say to yourself. The Grey Emperor fits perfectly with the rise of the pilgrim ascribed all those years ago. As you enter the Spartan stone receiving chamber, you're startled by the voice of the Grey King behind his famous mithril helm. I hope your travels were not so bothersome. I understand you've come a long way from here. If I might put to the question at hand, why have you come? Surely a letter by Raven would allow you to bestow whatever platitudes you wish to deliver to me. You clutch nervously at the bound scrolls in your hands tightly. If this doesn't work, you think, I'll be dead. You respond with, I've not come to deliver platitudes or congratulations. I've come to deliver you an empire. You flare and unveil the two scrolls in your paws. Invasion plans. Created over 100 years after 300 years of gathering and exploiting the prophecy of the pilgrim. Your people have been busy. But these aren't simply battle plans. No. As you explain to the Grey King, you've devised an invasion down to the last detail. Bribery, assassination, sabotage, forgery, and yes, muscle where needed. The Grey King looks over the plan silently for 30 minutes, never asking you to sit or acknowledging your presence. Finally, he speaks. This is impressive. How did you do this? Do your people live long lives? We do. And my den is over 200 strong. We've many ears for listening, many mouths for spreading the word of your highness, and many hands for action. If I may ask, why me? You have everything you need, so why is it you hand it to me? Because I am most comfortable in the shadows, where it's safe and anonymous. And there is an evil that will rise in my woods, my home, that I believe only you can stop. And what is this evil you would have me destroy? The Kinokage pauses. You pause before speaking. Her name is Aina, and she has a weapon called the Celestial Orb. As the memory fades, as you drink wine and speak of the plan to conquer Zata and destroy the threat that is Aina and the Celestial Orb, you think that you've won. The scene fades, and a final scene appears. Or another scene appears, excuse me. You sit in what remains of your den, amongst what remains of your people. The fire giant raid was devastating, and you even knew it was coming. How could this happen? You think to yourself. You dammed the river during the hardest drought in 100 years. The giants were supposed to die, not follow the dry river right to the den. 100 lives handed over to the giants in an instant. 100 lives to save the other 100. But the damage is done, and you are to blame. Too long you've played God with the pilgrim's prophecy. And to what aim? As you stare at the smoldering remnants of your den, you realize that you have caused the calamity, that you are responsible for the Emperor, responsible for convincing him to slaughter the giants all those years ago, responsible for this as well, not to mention the elves. You've left a wake of ruin behind you. And in that moment, the Kinokage, you, decide it's time to undo the damage you've wrought. You will leave the Tenebrae behind and create a new order of foxfolk. You'll hide your people, those that can stop the Emperor. You know his secret. Figured out that he belongs to And as that part of the memory starts to coalesce, something blocks it out. Something powerful obscures and blocks out about 30 seconds of the Kinokage's memories before it fades into a final scene. Thank God it was the final one. I'm tired of talking. Today is a good day, you think to yourself as you walk to the common area of the den. It's been a long time since you felt optimistic. But today will mark the future of your people, an eventual return to be on the right side of history. You've done much since the first den burnt to ash. Your people are happy, hidden, and out learning about the world instead of being told. There's an entire generation of young folk who will someday lead. You feel the weight of the amulet against your chest and grip it. But before the dawn must come dark. The one part of the pilgrim story that you've dreaded has come. Your people, those whose years take them back to the fight against Aina, have once again heard her name on the wind. It could be years until she has the strength to pursue you, but she will come, and you will die. It might as well be written in ink, you think to yourself. No, today isn't about her. It's about her. As you round the corner, you see the rebellious teen standing in a group of students receiving a lecture from an older Inari, one of your originals. Kid is young, but she shows great prowess as both an academic and a warrior. Traits these people will soon need. You think back to the ritual sealing the amulet's power. Will it be enough, you think to yourself? Enough to keep Aina from forcibly taking it, or finding the Lone Stone Library and what's hidden there, secrets and otherwise? Only time will tell, you think to yourself. The scene ends as the Kinokage, as you walk to Kit and pull her aside. The 5 of you, the 10 younglings and Aina, snap out of the trance as the blood is ripped from your eyes. You see Aina cast it out, slamming it against the wall, where it rains down from the corner of the ceiling down the wall, completely dripping the entire previously white dining room in a thin coat of blood, but leaving the food completely untouched. He pauses. You look across the table, and it is clear that the Kinokage has died. His blood, ripped from him, has left him a pale husk of a foxfolk. She looks at Kit and at the party and says, "So, shall we eat?" And gently nudges the Kinokage from his chair, takes her place at the head of the table, and sits down. And that is where we will end tonight's session. We will pick up next week back at the table with the culmination of our dinner party and a conversation with Aina. So, guys, next week. That was fun for me. I don't like reading a lot, but that was a lot of fun for me.
I liked it.
Bye. All right. See you guys next week.